So I teased this before we got into the entertainment report. Justin Baldoni's $400 million lawsuit against Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds has been dismissed, along with his separate suit against the New York Times. Judge Louis J. Lyman granted the dismissal, but allowed Baldoni to amend some of his claims by June 23rd. I have some more details here. Blake is opening up about the pain that she was caused by the countersuit, which she declares it has been defeated with the judge's dismissal. She issued in a statement on Instagram, like so many others, I felt the pain of a retaliatory lawsuit, including the manufactured shame that tries to break us. While the suit against me was defeated, so many don't have the resources to fight back. She added that she is now more resolved than ever to continue the stand for every woman's right to have a voice in protecting themselves, including their safety, their integrity, their dignity, and their story. And she said, with love and gratitude for the many who stood by me, many of you I know, many of you I don't, but I will never stop appreciating or advocating for you. As part of the post, Lively shared a list of organizations for relevant resources and information. And among these organizations were groups and experts that recently filed amicus briefs in the ongoing case, sounding the alarm on what they called Baldoni's attempt to dismantle a law designed to protect women who speak up. The judge granted motions to dismiss the $400 million lawsuit against Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, which alleged extortion and defamation, plus Baldoni's $250 million defamation suit against the New York Times.
Could you imagine bringing someone in? Yeah, that'd be wild. But it's interesting here because it's such a morass of legal crap that I don't really fully have a grasp of what's going on here, right, at this point. And I think that is, as a couple of lawyers have said, assessing all of this, that's actually part of the practice.
Well, I'll tell you,
muddy the waters.
I was pre-law.
Yes.
I took I was for about a semester and a half. So what happened here is they both wasted a ton of money.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what happened.
Okay, that's what happened. Well, it's not over. I mean, her suit is
still going forward.
Yeah, it just is. It's been dropped.
And he still has options as well. So.
Yeah, so he countersued.
Yeah.
So that's what's being dropped. This is not over by any way, shape,
Nothing
or
is
form.
over is what you're trying to say?
Nothing is over.
Where's that at?
Don't know.
Nothing is over! Nothing is over! Your Honor!
Her lawyers hailed the decision as a total victory and a complete vindication for the actress. In their statement after the dismissal news, Lively's attorneys, Ezra Hudson and Mike Gottlieb, noted, as we have said from day one, this $400 million lawsuit was a sham.
A mockery of a sham.
And the court saw right through it.
It was scurrilous.
They added that they look forward to the next round, which is seeking attorney's fees, treble damages.
Yes, and base as well.
And punitive damages.
We want both treble and base.
It's all about
the base.
Yeah.
In law, you learn it's all about the base. You can trust me, I wear a cowboy hat.
Also against Baldoni and the Wayfarer parties who, quote, perpetrated this abusive litigation.
The duplicitous perpetration of the prerogative remains intact and exculpatory.
To quote Bobby Brown, it's my prerogative. That's right. Judge Lyman noted in his June 9th filing that Baldoni's legal team can still amend the claims for breach of implied covenant and tortuous interference with contract if they choose to move forward with a deadline of June 23rd, by the way. So it is their prerogative to get
Absolutely their prerogative.
Yes. So anyhow, we're not done with that. But that portion of it, for now, that step has been, dismissed, but they can refile. And I'm sure they will. That's probably what'll happen.
That's what you do. You just keep it going forever, right?
Yeah, probably. All right, Taylor Swift has been granted a temporary restraining order against a man she claims has repeatedly shown up at her Los Angeles home, making disturbing and false claims. The 45-year-old Colorado man named Brian Jason Wagner must now stay at least 100 yards away from Swift and her residence after allegedly showing up with a glass bottle and insisting that she's the mother of his child, all of which are untrue and
it's completely true, man.
Disconnected from reality.
Because the player's gonna play.
That Swift had written in her court filing. She added, the fact that Mr. Wagner is determined where I reside and visited the property several times, refusing to leave and claiming to need access makes me fear for my safety. Wagner has also... Jesus. He's out front on the lawn singing to her.
Come on, baby, sing it with me. I mean, we're co-parents.
Wagner has also allegedly sent lengthy communications from prison, tried to steal her mail, and attempted to obtain a driver's license with her address as his own.
That's a problem.
Yeah, the restraining order lasts through June 30th, when a hearing will determine if it will be extended. And this marks yet another troubling chapter in Swift's long history with stalkers. In 2019, a Florida man broke into Taylor's New York home and napped in her bed as well.
Got into the house.
Took a little snoozy poo.
I didn't get that far. I just dropped a dookie in your hedges.
The other guy's crazy.
That guy's good. Yeah, I was wondering, how did you do that? Well, it's kind of funny if you got some time. Hey, you talk just like me.
Then in 2020, a Texas man...
cooperative among stalkers.
Then in 2020, a Texas man was in prison for sending violent letters to her. He's from Texas. Former label. No, you have to think that she's probably got more stalkers than anybody.
I would imagine. So there were pictures of her at that wedding that she went to at Travis Kelce's cousin. And though you couldn't see them, she had security.
Absolutely.
All around there.
She should.
Yeah.
Multiple people should be hanging out, keeping an eye on things for her. I mean,
Listen, man, we had a guy show up here last week looking for me.
Yeah.
And a voices told him to be here.
Casey's the mother of my child.
Listen, I have walked every single time I walk in this parking lot now. I'm like, where is that guy?
Well,
you know what I mean?
Listen, I was talking to a friend of mine who's in television, and I was talking to him about people that kind of cross the line. He said there are some people that believe that we are talking to them or that we are sending messages to them.
Right.
It's a mental illness.
Coded messages.
And then if you get somebody who's mentally ill and then they're motivated, that is a recipe for disaster.
Right.
If something bad can happen.
I always harken back to David Letterman's stalker who eventually laid down on railroad tracks and had a train run over her head.
Yep, exactly. So,
It's crazy.
but
Even that guy.
Some people, right? Where do they get this stuff?
But I bet you pound for pound, Taylor's got more than anybody. I just have that feeling because she's in the public eye constantly.
Yeah.
She's a beautiful woman. She is, she's incredibly successful. She's got music all over the radio. She's just so in front of
High
everybody.
profile.
Yeah.
I would liken it to presidential detail level.
Yeah. Dakota Johnson and Chris Evans were on the Today Show yesterday promoting their film Materialists, when the question inevitably arose that if they ever used a matchmaker, which is central to the movie's plot. And what would they consider non-negotiable in potential matches? Evans was quick with an answer: must love dogs. And Johnson recently split from, of course, Chris Martin, and she was even quicker and said, like, not an a-hole. So that caused the set to erupt in laughter, but they were just kind of playing around and having some fun with that. But yeah, must love dogs. Evans is a big dog fan.
And he's married now, yeah?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, he married that Brazilian entertainer, model, something like that. Yeah, an Ana de Armas type.
Coochie, that lady?
Charo.
Yeah, Charo. Yeah. So Patti LuPone, the Broadway star, may not have been at the Tony Awards, but she was never far away, a point driven home by Oprah Winfrey. As Winfrey took the stage to announce the Best Actress in a Musical winner, she alluded to the controversy sparked by the category, and she said, this outstanding year in live theater turns to women whose work sparked lively conversations among theater fans, she said before pausing and looking around the room for effect, causing the audience to break out into laughter. Now, for those who are not up on their Broadway controversies, LuPone made headlines last month when a New Yorker interview saw her insulting fellow Broadway stars Kecia Lewis, I think that's how you say her name.
I think so, yeah.
And Audra McDonald. She had since apologized, but apparently she crossed the line. Like a lot of people got up in arms about it on Broadway.
The community that kind of reveres her went after her. And then Oprah posed a very awkward question to the audience, Preston.
If your child said they had their salad tossed, would you know what they meant?
Just out of nowhere.
Maybe.
Out of nowhere.
She did, honestly, though, she played around with the whole Oprah's favorite thing. She pulled that there was something under her seat.
Right.
And then she played off the you get a car, you get a car, you get a car thing, which I thought was kind of fun.
Cynthia Erivo did that to her, right? It was under her seat.
Yeah, exactly. So Sydney Sweeney is stepping into the ring for her next big role as boxing legend Christy Martin.
Ding, ding.
What was that? I'm sorry.
No problem.
In a new W Magazine cover story, she revealed, "My body was completely different after months of intense prep." The actress said that she trained up to 4 hours a day and gained over 30 pounds for the role.
Yeah, I saw pictures of her from the set, and she put in the work, clearly.
Yeah, so she noted that her body size, the changes in her body size, she said it was crazy. And she said that it was she was all in on it, adding, "I was so strong, like crazy strong." The upcoming biopic,
She killed a bear.
directed by David Mickid, will follow Martin's rise as trailblazing female boxer in the 90s and the battles that she fought outside the ring, too. I'm not familiar with Christy Martin.
No,
maybe
neither
if
was I,
saw her, I might be. But
You might, because I watched it might have been like a 30 for 30 on her or something along those lines.
Okay.
And I became familiar.
Okay.
Re-familiar, I should say.
yeah, we're looking at pictures of Sydney. She definitely put on quite a bit of weight for the role. So, she's definitely going all in on that.
Would you? Because I forget who I was listening to, another actor who packed on a lot of weight for a role and then found it incredibly hard to take it off. For a role like a De Niro, 50, 60 pounds. Would you put your body through that?
For $20 million, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For the kind of money they work for, absolutely, without question, I would do that. How about you?
I'm not sure.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Well, listen, speaking to when Rob McElhenney put on the role for Mac on Always Sunny, he said putting on the weight was harder than taking it off and getting in shape.
He was literally guzzling milkshakes.
Now, he really fattened up.
Yeah.
Like, he put on like 40 pounds, didn't he?
Oh, I would say maybe even more.
Maybe even more.
There's one episode where he's sitting there and they're sitting around the table and he's eating potato chips and they're just looking at him as he's breathing and he's like, "What?" And then he became jacked.
The live-action Legend of Zelda movie has moved its release date to May 7th of 2027. It was originally set to come out in March that year. But the series creator, Shigeru Miyamoto, says the small shift in dates has had to happen for production reasons. In a statement released online, he said it will be some weeks later than the release timing that we originally announced, and we will take the extra time to make the film as good as it can be. Thank you for your patience. And Wes Ball, known for the Maze Runner trilogy and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, is going to be directing the movie. So
it seems like everything is in place, and it seems pretty solid. It's such a beloved, such a cherished video game. I know you and I are huge fans. Just please get it right.
I think they now have the ability with CGI to really do it right, and I hope that they can. And yeah, dude, I'll be all in on that. I should dive back into that world again. It's so fun.
Yeah.
The Harry Potter TV series for HBO has announced the actors joining on to play characters from the Malfoys, the Weasleys, the Dursleys, and more. So they're really stacking up that cast. Lox Pratt will play Draco Malfoy, with Johnny Flynn playing his father, Lucius. Belle Powley will play Petunia Dursley, while Daniel Rigby has joined on to play Vernon Dursley. Catherine Parkinson is set to play Molly Weasley. Leo Early, Alicia Leone, Sienna Musa, and Bertie Carvel join as Seamus Finnegan, Pravati Patil, Lavender Brown, and Cornelius Fudge, respectively.
So the movies, which obviously you're talking about 10 movies, they covered obviously a lot of the material in the books, but percentage-wise, Nick, what would you say? How many characters were left out percentage-wise? Say 100%.
I have no idea what it percentage-wise, but a lot. I mean, the books 5 and 6, Order of Phoenix, and Half-Blood Prince, there's just so much left out because the volume of material is massive, and those books are really long. They did a better job in Deathly Hallows because they made 2 movies out of it. So there were 8 total movies in the original franchise.
Okay.
But for example, Petunia Dursley's relationship with her sister, who's Harry's mom, they go into J.K. Rowling goes into much more detail in that relationship, and it's fascinating why there was so much division between the two, why she feared witches, etc. And so, if they're able to explore this in ways that they really didn't in the original movies, I'll be interested to see how they do it.
And one of the things, Steve, that was for fans of the books that they were not happy about with the movies was they left out this character called Peeves, who is a poltergeist that lives in the castle. Or in the school, and they're going to have that, Nick. There's going to have to be.
So akin to like the ghost in the bathroom.
Yeah, but he's a bit of a troublemaker, and becomes important to some of the plot lines. So anyhow, they've already found Albus Dumbledore, Severus Snape, and Rebus Hagrid, as well as Ron, Harry, Hermione. Filming is expected to begin on the series this summer.
You'll be able to watch it on HBO. I miss that guy.
I do. He was the best. All right, 2 generations of Saturday Night Live talent come together in one movie in the upcoming The Pickup. It's Eddie Murphy and Pete Davidson. They will be armored truck drivers who are ambushed by ruthless criminals led by Keke Palmer. The heist pick also stars Eva Longoria, Marshawn Lynch, Joe Roman.
What?
Yeah, I know. Joe Roman Reigns and Andrew Dice Clay. So interesting little group.
I really
watch
like
the trailer?
Marshawn Lynch. I don't know if he's an actor, but he's hilarious.
Did you watch the trailer, Preston? Mm-mm. Okay, so it was actually better than I thought it would be. That's just a trailer.
Yeah.
But the dynamic between Eddie Murphy and Pete Davidson seems to be pretty good.
Marshawn Lynch was in that movie with Ke Kwan.
He was.
Ke Kwan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how big of a character he was in that, but I know that they threw down.
Okay. Love Hurts, Casey, the one that came out
That was the most recent.
early this year. Yeah.
That would have been it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. All right. Well, anyhow, the movie premieres on Prime Video, and you can catch that August 6th. National Geographic Channel's Shark Fest programming this year includes a premiere of Jaws at 50 documentary. And as you might have guessed, it is by the name of the marks the 50th anniversary of the Jaws movie, exploring both the making of the movie and its cultural impact. Steven Spielberg said, "We were on the real ocean, and we were way out of our element for 5 months, and we all began going off the deep end, literally."
So if you watch the anniversary collection that they released on 4K and Blu-ray, there's a ton of making of stuff. And no CGI available, all, physical effects, a mechanical shark. And it is an amazing thing that they accomplished.
Jaws at 50 premieres on July 10th. Other shark-related programming includes Sharks Up Close with Bertie Gregory, Investigation Shark Attack, and Super Shark Highway on July 5th. Sharks of the North on July 12th, and Shark Quest Hunt for the Apex Predator coming out on July 13th.
So, a funny thing about that shark, the mechanical shark that they built for Jaws, it malfunctioned so often that Spielberg and his editor made the decision to keep the shark hidden and just suggested for a lot of the movie, and that really made the movie that much more suspenseful. And when the shark was seen, it looked pretty good. So, it did what it was supposed to do, but that mysterious thing leading up to it was what built the suspense.
All right, I couldn't get out of this entertainment report without reporting on the drama and how it's heating up on Love Island Beyond the Villa.
Oh, yeah. What's going on?
And the trailer is giving fans a bit of tea on this, Steve. The new spinoff brings back fan faves from season 6 of Love Island USA.
Oh, my God.
And now this is Love Island Beyond the Villa. This was as they navigate love, exes, and chaos in Los Angeles. Kaylor Martin is already in tears, shouting, "I'm not having fun. I'm having a miserable time."
Damn.
When
I'm having fun.
When Jonna Gregg and Kenny Rodriguez are clearly not vibing, with Kenny admitting, "I want separation from you."
Come on, baby.
Catch the premiere on July 13th on Peacock, with new episodes rolling out every week starting on July 17th.
I can't take this stuff.
Love Island.
Although the cast is always of these things
stellar.
stellar, stunning.
Beyond the villa, huh?
Yeah, Beyond the Villa.
Okay.
You want to get deep.
Right, yeah.
I'm afraid. What goes on beyond the villa?
I actually watched a reality show. I don't like reality programming, so but Rochelle does, and so she started watching this. Now it was a game show of sorts, where people were competing for $1 million, and the host of it was he was in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's also and you guys know me. I always forget the name of this movie with Vince Vaughn, where they go to the island to work on the couples
retreat.
Is it couples retreat?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Well, he was the main. He called the leader Mercer. You remember? You guys know this.
Yeah.
He's an English guy.
I know who you're talking about.
But anyway, he's the host of this show. And so I started watching a little bit of it. They're trying to win $1 million. And it wasn't until about 15 minutes that I'm like, oh, these are all really good looking people in this.
Of course.
$1 Million Secret.
That was it.
Yeah.
Million
It
dollar
actually
secret.
was really good, believe it
Really?
or not. Yeah.
All right.
And it's a scheming back and forth, a la Survivor, where people are hiding things from each other. But they acted civil with each other. They weren't getting mean and petty with each other.
Yeah.
They had to hide secrets from each other. But they were all really hot.
I'm not beyond being seduced into watching these occasionally. Nikki Glazer had one, and I don't know if it's still on, but it was called F-Boy Island. Do you remember
Really?
that? Yeah.
I remember the name of that, but yeah.
And she was able to add her, editorializing to the show, which made it funnier.
Nice.
Yeah.
This one, they're in this mansion, which is somewhere in these mountains on this lake, and it's just stunningly gorgeous. There's a lot to look at.
When you think back in the history of reality shows, and I know so much, I've been out of the loop. To me, one of the pivotal benchmark moments in reality TV was that show with Flava Flav, where one of the contestants took a dump on the staircase.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you remember that?
I do.
I mean, there
Flavor
you go.
of Love.
Flavor of Love.
Yeah, that was it. By the way, the actor's name is Peter Serafinowicz, and you would recognize him if you saw him. It's actually a pretty good show. It's on Netflix. All right, we're ready for clips. Mia Thrippleton, makes her Wes Anderson debut in The Phoenician Scheme, playing a nun who is also the daughter of a business tycoon. And here, she and Michael Cera discuss their unique audition process.
I got the email and it was pages from a completely different project. There was no character description. All I had was young girl, and I knew that it was for him.
Really?
So, yeah, but that's not uncommon.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Did you
That's
not?
cool. No, I didn't know that.
Well, then yes, there you go. It did actually say on the bottom of the email, do not try and recreate previous performance.
What was this? What was it from?
It was from Isle of Dogs.
Okay.
I don't think I want to see it.
Casey, looking at her name, maybe it's Threapleton. That's how you say that. Mia Threapleton. The Phoenician Scheme is in theaters now.
Isn't it wild to think of Michael Cera as, and I was watching an interview with him, he's a family man. He's got kids. Yeah. I perpetually think of him from Superbad,
Yeah. All right, here's our next clip. The Snake. Cold-blooded reality series with alliances, deception, and romance. And in this clip, host Jim Jeffries describes the manipulation it takes to survive.
The masterclass in watching people making friends and faking friends, and there's a lot of bluffing in this game. Every act you do in the game has a consequence, but you have to screw people over. It's just like life.
1 second,
It's kind of like the show I was just discussing, where they're hiding things from each other. But anyhow, it's The Snake, and it premieres tonight on Fox if you want to check that out. And there you go. Those are your clips for you this morning. All right, we have joining us on the program later around 9 o'clock, Mr. Tom Johnston of the Doobie Brothers.
Yes.
That guy himself will be on. They have a new album. It's called Walk This Road. Man, these guys have been together forever.
Yeah.
And
it's amazing.
They're still putting out music, so we're going to talk to him around 9 o'clock. We also have a couple other things going on charity-wise, and an award that will be given to Casey Boy this morning. So we're going to have Al Zafiri and Chris Hollywood Holbrook. I'll tell you about them and what they do in a little while as they present an award to them.
If you pay attention to the Nobel Prize, then you might want to tune in.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back in just a moment on this Tuesday, hanging out together. Stay put.
Preston and Steve.
Grocery store
and wander around. And it was back in the day when your parents didn't care. They kind of hoped that one or two of you wandered off.
Right.
And I knocked over this. It had to have been gallons of pasta sauce into the aisle of the grocery store.
Man.
And these are glass
And-
containers?
Oh, yeah. And I'm 5, so I think I could just brush it aside and clean it up. Nobody will know. So I come back to find my mom holding broken pieces of glass with pasta sauce all over my hands.
Oh, man. Oh.
She must have thought you were bleeding out.
That's what she thought. She
Yeah.
said, "Oh my God, what's blood? What's pasta sauce?" Like it was horrifying. experience.
Hey, Kyle, did they make your folks pay for it, or was there any sort of did they kick your ass out of the store? What happened?
I think they looked at our family funny after that because they knew we were the pasta people. But I'm not sure if they made her pay for it. But if they did, it was probably a couple $100 worth of stuff.
So that would be something where they made this, like Kathy, you talk about having insurance, and I think you're right. For the most part, insurance will cover a lot of this stuff. But also, what if it's something that that the store is made, or it's a one of a kind, or a display?
All right, I do have this story. It's a little bit off topic, but it does involve breaking something, and I had already paid for it. And this is me as a full-grown adult. I had gone to a liquor store, and I had bought a bottle of gin, okay?
Yeah.
And I was, why did I go back? And anyway, I think I had already paid for it, and I forgot something. I came back into the store, and I was in the back of the store, and I dropped it, and it just shatters. And I've already paid for it. And I'm like, you got to be. Or maybe I went outside and dropped it. Anyhow, I dropped this, and I was like, Bluto in Animal House.
Right, yeah.
When they dropped the booze, like, I just paid for this bottle. And I bring it back in, and I'm like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like,
can you fix it?
Can you fix this? No, but what they told me, and I did not know, that with alcohol like that, as long as the seal on the cap was not broken, they could take it and give me another one.
Really?
So they did?
Yeah. So they gave me another one. So as long as that seal was not broken, that proved that you didn't drink some out of it and go, oops, I dropped it and I need a new one. That they could give me
so
another
they didn't see you with the straw in the parking lot.
Right. I made a little hole.
I was at a store just this past weekend at the beach. It was kind of like Terrain, Kathy. Think about it, where it's like it has all these cute like knickknacks and bric-a-bracs and kitchen things. Plus, you can get lunch there. So while you order, you go and you shop around, and it's beautiful, like pottery and dishes. Everything is breakable.
Yeah.
And in the end, it's very tight aisles, and there's lots of things on the floor. So there's not just like things on tables, but this woman leaned in, and she must have kicked a stand that was set up under the table, and it just started shattering. But it wouldn't stop shattering. There was at least like 9 dishes that fell.
Once in those displays, once it's like that, they're going.
Here's the only thing I think she had going for her. It was definitely like all high school kids that were working there, and everyone was like, what to do? Oh, sorry.
Well,
Enjoy
that's the
your
same
macaroons.
thing. I get so nervous when I'm at Cracker Barrel and you're in that store part. And I remember one time, Preston, I knocked over a Mel Tillis CD and cracked the jewel case. And I was like, oh my God, this must be worth, I don't know, $1,
right? Oh, God. Here's a text that says, knocked over a saxophone off of a stand in a Sam Ash while test driving a bass guitar. Bent the horn into an oval shape upon impact. $2,700 later, guess what I own now?
Oh, my
Oh my God. So what are the parameters of the law or insurance coverage? What are they within their rights to exact from you if you are responsible for breaking something they deem? In other words, are they compelled to go? Is it like when you get into an accident and you decide, Kathy, like your situation, are we going to go through insurance or? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Can you do it outside of that?
I had the same question. What happens if you get in an accident when you're test driving a car?
That's a good question.
You bought it.
You dig it? You bought it?
I think you sign up for their insurance policy when you take the car off the lot. Don't quote me on that, but I think like in order to do a test drive, you have to sign something that says you are somewhat culpable.
I promise not to break it.
Right. We're going to calls. You broke it, you bought it. 215-263 WMMR. I have Laura on the line. Hey, Laura. Good morning.
Good morning. If I had a hammer,
I'd hammer in the morning.
I'd beat you with the hammer.
Then I'd flee town.
What's up, Laura?
So recently at a pet store in Harleysville, I
know
won't
which one.
name names.
I know
Yes.
which one. Go ahead.
Yes, we live very close to it, and I took my dog in there to buy dog food, thinking I would spend $30 or $40, and he peed on the entire display rack of handmade raincoats for dogs, and the lady was so pissed. Now, mind you, if it was like a bigger box store like PetSmart or something, like they probably would have been like, oh, they have
Right.
15 up stations, have a great day. No, this lady was pissed. She gave me like the devil eyes, and she's like, well, now we can't sell them, blah, blah, blah. So they made me buy $50 dog rain jackets. So if anyone is in the market for
Now,
of sizes.
a rain jacket, all moisture
Right?
of any type should run
run off
right off of that.
Yeah.
And,
I know.
And by
I
the
felt
way,
so
how do you home make? What do you knit a rain? Do you ever
Well,
see
it's
like
probably
knitted raincoats?
It's hand sewn to fit a dog. I mean,
But I mean,
they're
it's-
probably not mass producing raincoats for dogs.
But I mean, as Preston points out, it's usually some sort of water repellent.
It
Material.
is, and
Material.
that's why I was so pissed, because I was like, just wipe it off. Just Clorox wipe the damn thing.
How many did
But
you have to
no.
buy, Laura?
3.
So you spend $150 on raincoats.
and also, you're bringing an animal into a store, and they know that from time to time,
They're
an
gonna
animal
pee.
might do something like that.
Yeah.
You, as a human being, have very little control over that.
That's why Petco has the Fabergé eggs up on a higher shelf.
right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that
So
sucks,
they
Laura.
They have since moved that display rack, by the way. I
Yeah.
have been in there since. I thought I would never show my face there again, but I have.
You have to.
And they moved the display rack to a more higher up, which they should have been in the first.
In the first place, yes, absolutely.
All right, thank
Enjoy
you,
the
Laura.
raincoats.
Yeah. Hope for rain.
If anyone's in the market for
Get
raincoats.
to use them. Let's go to Keith next. Hey, Keith, good morning.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, Bob, what's going on?
So it was like 1999 when those Dell computers came out that were all different colors.
Yes.
So, all right. And they were probably like $1,000 when they came out, right? Maybe.
Yeah. I put that
Okay.
about that price. Yeah, I think you're on the right path.
So we ride our bikes up to the Best Buy, look at video games, not even really looking at them. And they're all on these shelves. My buddy is a moron and goes, wait, does the shelf pull out? So he tries to pull it out, and all these computers fall behind like 2 shelves and smash. There's also like CD players on there, like heavy stuff.
Of course.
Just smashes. All of them broke. So managers come over, they grab us up, and they're like, "Hey, man, like, where's your parents? We don't have any. We're orphans."
We're orphans.
And
I'm Batman.
they're like naming off prices, like it's the years. Like they're going, yeah, that's like 1977. That's so it's coming to like $8,000, which I thought I'd never see that money in my life. So we're like, all right, well, can we call our parents? And they're like, so you're orphans, whatever. So as we're walking to the office, my friend's just like, time to go. And we just dip, get on our bike. And like, I've never been back to Deptford. So
You've never been back to
You left the
Deptford,
entire
just in
town
case,
behind you.
even though you've grown up into an adult. So you guys just bolted.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like, that's probably why Best Buy's going out of business.
Probably what you did in
That's pretty
1999.
good, man.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, Keith, I love that story. Oh man. And listen, as a kid, you just panic, man. You just get out of there. I could totally see that.
Well, when parents have like ultra grabby kids, and you can see, they go into a store like that. You see the law being laid down and kids are just, I mean,
Yeah, just grabbing.
yeah.
I feel
Too
like,
much.
or even like fire alarms to kids. You know
Oh,
what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah, yeah.
If they can reach that, like stuff like that too.
Here's a text. Listen to this. Says, my 3-year-old thinks it's hilarious to grab candy bars off the shelf and take a bite with the wrapper on, forcing me to buy them every time. I guess that's a way to do it.
Yeah.
You can if you want that candy bar. You definitely just take a bite. You're going to be buying
Can
it.
you do the same with like a Lamborghini if you go to the dealership
Yeah,
and then
right,
just
right.
a bite? Yeah, chew on the wind.
I'm guilty of like smushing the candy to see if it's fresh and then putting that one back and getting another one.
Getting another fresh one.
What are you doing? How can you get a not fresh candy bar?
Or like a
Sometimes-
pastry.
Yeah, or like
She just digs her
Twizzlers.
fingers into the
Do
pastry.
you do the same with the
Yeah.
produce, like apples, and take a little bite? Nah, this is good.
No, but I do tell myself that no matter what the apple is, like somebody else picked over that apple.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like, while I'm spending too much time trying to pick the right apple, I'm thinking like this apple was picked over by somebody else.
No, I don't know what you mean. Picked over.
Like somebody else
Somebody passed up on it.
passed up on it. Somebody
Okay.
else didn't take
It
it
wasn't
home.
a good one.
Yes,
So
and
it's
how
not
does
the
that how
best
does that
one.
make you feel?
Preston, you wanna unpack this right now?
I'm not understanding. So you're saying that all the good apples are taken already, and you're left with the dregs?
Yeah. I'm like the second best apples are left.
These are the. What if they just put them out and you've got
Yeah.
pick of the litter?
What if you just got there?
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Should never
You don't
thought of
know.
it that way.
Thanks. See,
This is a
turned it
moral.
around.
This is a moral crisis you're going through now.
God, I need to talk to you guys more often.
Here's a text that says, "Color Me Mine sends me into a cold sweat. I loudly lectured my 2 children during a very crowded holiday weekend not to touch anything. Then picked up one of the largest ceramics,
I'm not sure what that word is.
a Senkan cookie jar. Flipped it upside down to see the price, and
no.
the head flew off,
Oh, no.
bounced twice, and then shattered.
Wait, so the person did it, not the kid?
Yeah,
the adult.
I
Yeah.
guess so,
To
yeah.
get it away from the kids.
Oh my God.
It wasn't so much
I love that.
the cost, but the audible gasps from all the other mothers there was the worst.
That space, Preston. It's like when you get kicked in the balls, and that time that it freezes in time for the pain. When something like glass, you drop it, it has the clink clink, lifts up, for like a nanosecond, and then comes back down. It's always the second or third bounce on which it crashes.
3-3 WMMR.
All right, thank you very much, Marissa. Real quick, I want to do a shout out
I
and
know it.
butt to plug. Got this one. It says, "Hey, my name is Abby. I'm reaching out because my amazing brother's birthday is tomorrow. He's turning 33. He's a huge fan of your show. Tunes into the radio whenever he can. We both grew up in Philly, but he recently moved out to Washington for work with his girlfriend. Luckily, he's back home right now, and we're all together for his birthday, which feels really special. Just wanted to share how much he loves what you do, and maybe see if there's any chance of a birthday shout out from him. Thank you so much for reading this and for all the laughs and good energy you bring. Warmly, that is from Abby Hagstotz. So here's a shout out to your brother, and happy birthday to you, sir, and thank you for listening and sticking with us. Here's another one that says, "Hey, can I get a huge Tom Jones?" Oh, it's from our buddy Charles Lance.
Oh,
Sassy.
Charles, yeah.
Huge Tom Jones shout out from my brother, from another mother, Dale Habowski. Now that he is not highly respected in his field,
That's a shame.
come to think of it, he's kind of a jackass, but I have grown to love him as a brother. Dale is coming up on 1 year being sober, and I'm so effing proud of this guy. If you could be so kind as to blast one in his face, I would be in your debt. Love you guys, Charles Sassy. So we'll do a shout out for you, please.
Yeah!
Thank you. That's how you do that. And then a butt plug. This is from Emily, who emailed in, and there's an event that's coming up tomorrow. She says, longtime listener, first-time emailer, I'm reaching out for a special event that's happening on June 11th in Havertown. I'll be incredibly grateful if you give it a quick mention on the air. It is called Anne's Purple for a Purpose Race Against Pancreatic Cancer. Community walk run in the memory of my mom, Anne Camarado, who dedicated her life to science and medicine before passing away from pancreatic cancer. Organized by the Haverford Township Parks and Recreation, the event takes place annually on the beautiful Haverford Reserve Trails. It's open to all ages and experience levels, low pressure and high purpose, with proceeds going to PanCan, which is a Pancreatic Cancer Action Network to support pancreatic cancer research and patient advocacy. So whether you're walking in memory and support or just maybe part of something bigger, we'd love to have you join us. The event kicks off at the CERN or I'm sorry, not CERN, the CERC, C-E-R-C in Havertown.
Yeah, so there's a Haverford Reserve is this whole like complex with like sports fields and playgrounds and dog parks, and then they have the CERC, which is this building that is right around these walking and mountain biking trails.
Nice.
Nice. All right,
so
so
CERC is an acronym.
wanted to give that a plug, and I think, do we have that information on the website, Nick?
I don't think I got that one.
Oh, I thought you had this as well.
No, can you send it to me?
I'll send it to you.
All right, Casey will. Yeah, you were the one who gave that.
Yeah.
All right, so anyway, wanted to pass those along. But you know what?
What?
We didn't get to this last week, so I want to do it now. It's time to expand our minds. Let's go to school. The Just Sayin Institute.
The Just Sayin Institute, home of the Preston Elliott Public Speaking While Eating Cashews Research Center.
Dude, I can't help but snack on those
I
things.
see you go over every time.
And I will sit here and like little pieces of cashew end up on my microphone, and I have to pick them off while we're talking. Cashews and nuts are very
counterproductive to public speaking.
Yeah. The little bits stay in your mouth for a while. Little bits of nuts.
Little
are in your
nuts
mouth
in your mouth.
all the time. So, all right. Anyhow, I do have some scientific studies and advances that I want to share with you. This is interesting. In the heart of Manhattan, 4 stories below ground, the iconic 11 Madison skyscraper is being air conditioned by using ice. So this is according to who is this? President of an organization called Train Technologies Commercial HVAC Americas. Said there's about 500,000 pounds of ice created every night. And to put that into context, he said, think about 3 city buses full of ice cubes. So the ice battery system freezes water at night when the cost of electricity is low. And then during the day, when the price is high, the building is cooled with the previous night's ice instead of using expensive electricity.
So this is fascinating because on a vacation that my wife and I took a couple of years ago, we went to the Opera House in Budapest. And they would, now it was all candlelit in the beginning years of the Opera House, which of course created a lot of heat when,
right.
And also when attendees were there, but they used the same system, Preston. They had ice in the basement and they had a system of vents and doors and quasi fans that would cool the entire building with that alone.
But here's what's interesting. This system can lower cooling costs by up to 40%.
It's pretty amazing.
That's a massive amount.
How much does it cost to produce the ice?
Overall, I think that that's a good question, Steve, but I think it's considered economical to do this.
Seems like it is.
So maybe, I mean, it's cheaper for them to keep the ice frozen than it would be to run a system on Freon. I don't know. Like maybe you only have to freeze the ice once and keep it frozen?
Yeah.
No. They have to do it every night.
They have to so the ice just thaws and melts and then they have to refreeze it?
Well, I would assume so.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
but the cost, so to freeze it, did you hear the beginning part?
No, I was doing something else.
Okay, so the cost of electricity at night is cheaper than it is in the day. So they freeze it overnight.
Okay.
With cheaper electricity. And then they just let it thaw out and use it to cool it.
So the cool air is being used throughout the day when they need it the most.
Yeah, when electricity is more expensive.
Gotcha.
So it says when everyone else is using their electricity in the middle of July to cool their building or to cool their homes, it's a big draw on the grid. And this building won't draw from that because it made ice last night. Air conditioning makes up about 20% of energy use in homes and businesses worldwide. But on the hottest days, it can account for more than 70% of electricity used during peak hours. The president said we've done installations at about 4,000 sites globally. There are 6 million commercial buildings in the U.S. alone, and a very small fraction of them have installations like this. So instead of building more power plants, the focus is on storing energy with a system such as ice batteries. But because the process of freezing water uses a lot of energy itself, they're testing new materials that don't need to get as cold as ice but can still keep buildings cool. It's interesting.
I do like that, yeah. It was fascinating to learn how they used to handle air conditioning, quote unquote, 100 and 150 years ago.
By the way, he also said we take water. There's other ways that they can make water cool but not use the electricity. We take water and we add some other elements and molecules to it. And based on the composition, we can control that temperature basically anywhere we want it in the 0 to 20 degrees Celsius range. And that's important because what might work great in Texas, maybe it's not the right temperature to store your heat at if you're in Nevada or Wisconsin, say. So I thought that was interesting. There was a guy one time, I was at Worldwide Stereo. I was doing an appearance, and this guy showed up, and he had this classic VW that he had modded out. And there was this device hanging on the window. And I was like, what is that thing? It's this cylindrical looking thing hanging off the side. It was an air conditioner. You literally put ice in it. And as it moves along, the air from outside becomes a fan of sorts and blows the cold air into the car. And he's like, it gets crazy cold on the inside when you use that thing.
And you guys ever have an ice box growing up?
No, not a literal ice box, no.
We did, and now it's just sort of a pretty piece of antique furniture, and so my parents have it in their dining room. But when my mom was a kid, they used it as an actual ice box. And Preston, this is what it looks like. There's a screen that Preston and I share, and so down here on the right, bottom right compartment, they just would fill that up with ice, and it would really, and it was like a metal lining on the inside of it, and it would keep the rest of the, the inside of that cold.
Yeah.
And, anything you wanted to keep cold, anything you wanted to keep cold.
Anything.
Put in there.
You want to keep orange juice, 6 packs of
family pet
soda.
Yeah. No, those things are awesome looking. I think they're really cool. So they're really cool. You get it.
Your brain has the shell on it.
Tommy. All right, let's move on to another story at the Just Saying Institute. This one is a tad bit scary. Researchers at one of the world's leading AI labs are warning that humans may soon be little more than meat robots for near-future artificial intelligence systems.
A dream come true.
Yeah. During a recent interview with AI podcaster Dwarkesh Patel, Anthropic researchers Sholto Douglas and Trenton Bricken were surprisingly casual when fretting that the technology they're working to build may soon render us into AI-controlled androids or, at the very least, further grim job loss to the technology. Douglas had said one such future involves a drop in white-collar workers over the next 2 to 5 years. One that he thinks will come to pass even if algorithmic progress stalls out. Bricken, meanwhile, had more grandiose prognostications about the future. He said, the really scary future is one in which AIs can do everything except for the physical robotic tasks, in which case you'll have humans with AirPods and glasses, and there'll be some robot overlord controlling the human through cameras by just telling it what to do. And he just called a human it, by the way, telling it what to do. Basically, he said, you're having human meat robots. Douglas quickly jumped in at that point to, it seems, defend the technology, though. He said, not necessarily saying...
Tell me, we're trying to sell this stuff.
That's what the AIs would want to do or anything like that. Regardless of AI intent, if such a thing could exist, Douglas reasoned that we humans are in for a pretty terrible decade as the technology takes over.
So I've heard people talk about this and talk in another way, which is that, wow, AI will free us up to explore the more artistic side, the classic utopian vision. And so that's a potential as well.
Yeah, but
why do I think it's going to go the Skynet way?
Well, but here's the thing. If it does open us up to the utopian side of things, the more bohemian,
Yep.
How do you make money from that?
How do you make money?
We need to survive.
Right.
If jobs are going to be taken away
you
by
won't because
AI.
You will not leave your pod.
Yeah, right.
With the hoses in the back of your head.
You'll never have to. You get food directly into your system through that hose.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
It is pretty scary. Human labor will, Douglas predicted, primarily be valued upon how well we can do physical work that AI cannot. Like so many task rabbits for the algorithmic powers that be. But luckily, we make fantastic robots to that end, they said. They said it's a shocking, shocking world.
There are some, and listen, this has been part of speculative fiction forever that this would happen. But it seems that there's some of these dudes that can't wait for that to happen. Yeah.
Well,
it's like slow your roll, buddy.
Listen, it excites them that technology can advance like that, and I understand that. But it's the whole Jeff Goldblum thing. You've thought about whether or not you could rather than whether or not you should.
Yeah.
And we'll have to see where this goes. And if they're talking about we do the physical work. Not everybody can do the physical work. Well, there are some people who don't have that ability, and they're going to be in danger. It freaks me out a little bit. Now, I don't sit here and worry about it like crazy, but it is a concern.
Well, if you stop and think about it, we've taken massive leaps forward, technologically speaking, when the internet presented, what's going to happen, and now you go online and social media, and it's wonderful.
Oh, dude.
Great.
Well, listen, industries have taken huge hits since and listen, jobs are created, jobs are lost, jobs are created. Things shift. I do get that, but it seems like AI is the trimming down of human usage.
Yeah,
to some extent. So
we'll see how it plays out.
We will see how it plays out.
Thankfully, nothing has ever been able to replicate the morning show.
Yeah, right? All right. Well, let's move on now to nuclear explosions. How about that? That'll calm you down a little bit.
Well, that's how AI will take care of those pesky humans.
In the 1960s, Project Plowshare studied the effects of a nuclear explosion on geological materials on the ocean floor. And now a researcher named Andy Haverly envisions taking it a step further as he looks for a way to save the planet.
Lobster Man.
Oh, that's right.
And he said, was that from a nuclear explosion? Yeah, maybe.
Lobster Man.
So, by pulverizing the basalt that makes up the seabed, such an explosion could accelerate carbon sequestration, which captures and stores carbon dioxide from the atmosphere to reduce climate change through a process known to scientists as enhanced rock weathering, or ERW.
What could go wrong?
I know.
So all we have to do is detonate a few nuclear bombs on the ocean floor, and we can fight climate change.
Dude, some of this is out of Project Hail Mary. If you remember, part of that plot line, Casey, was to slow things down that were happening.
Yes, no, you're right.
Or to explode huge nuclear weapons around Antarctica.
Dude, that's why things as absurd as blocking out the sunlight.
Yeah.
I mean, like Mr. Burns level.
Yeah.
So Project Plowshare was a U.S. program initiated in 1957 to explore the use of nuclear explosives for peaceful construction purposes.
These are peaceful.
The idea was to use nuclear detonations for large-scale earth-moving projects, such as creating ports, canals, and highways. They literally consider this because when you're building things, you do have to blast sometimes. They're like, well, we got these giant bombs. Of course, they didn't know at the time.
You have to save those to fight the kaiju.
One notable test was in the 1962 Sedan shot, which created a massive crater.
The mission was to put the first Sedan into space.
However, the project faced significant public opposition due to the environmental and health risks associated with radioactive fallout. This opposition, along with the limited practical success of the tests, led to the program's termination in 1977.
Well, we dug the hole. We just can't use it for 200,000 years.
Yeah, we got to wait for the half-life on this stuff to die out. So,
how long? If just one went off, like how long would that?
I forget what the average half-life on a nuclear bomb is. Of a decent level.
Yeah.
But it's thousands and thousands of years.
So one of the questions is, where would the nuclear bomb be detonated? Well, now, according to Haverly's calculations, he wants to bury a nuclear device, a classic hydrogen bomb, under the Kerguelen Plateau in the Southern Ocean at a depth of 2 to 3 miles in the basalt-rich seabed and about 4 to 5 miles below the water surface.
I think Aquaman's going to have something to say about this.
The explosion would be contained within the water, and the basalt should absorb and trap most of the radiation locally.
So you're talking about the basalt in the ocean?
Yes, that's the one, yes. The negative effect of a nuclear explosion in the ocean, according to research, they predict few or no loss of life due to the immediate effects of radiation.
It's asterisk, few, or no loss of life.
The word few means 3, right?
Few,
right?
No.
It always has to me.
Yeah.
But in the context of the entire world population, it might 3 million. However, there's a caveat. In the long term, he acknowledges that the explosion will impact people and cause losses.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's general. Mm-hmm. It's going to impact people eventually.
Yeah.
That's something every Bond villain has ever said. There might be some issues.
He says, nevertheless, this increase.
Blofeld, thanks for the lecture.
This increase in radiation would be just a drop in the ocean.
Yes.
Considering he said that each year we emit more radiation from coal-fired power plants and have already detonated over 2,000 nuclear devices. One more, would it make a huge difference, especially as climate change is expected to threaten 30 million lives by the year of 2100. So
sometimes, on a smaller scale, have you guys ever been to a party where
someone sets off a nuclear bomb?
Somebody, I'm scaling this down quite a bit. But have you ever been at a party where somebody decides that they want to do something that actually is going to be dangerous for everybody, right? Like, we're going to light off a firework in the basement or something. And most of the people at the party are like, no, I don't want this. You know, like that's what this world, like, there's, 8 billion of us who are like, can you not do that? You know what I mean? And they're like, tough cookies, we're going to do this.
Well, the problem is getting the email out to everyone.
I don't think it's going to happen.
No,
the guy is just saying, if it came to extremes and we needed to do something drastically to change,
I just want to remind you, I still have that bomb.
The composition of our atmosphere and everything, that this might be an option. So I don't know. Yep. All right. Well, we're going to move away and get in something a little lighter. Japanese researchers have created a new artificial eye that works like a human eye, using solar cells to see colors and movement with 82% accuracy.
I like your eyes.
Your eye. The device called
I like your Japanese eye.
An optoelectronic artificial synapse uses 2 dye-sensitized solar cells, one for blue light and one for red light, to detect light wavelengths as small as 10 nanometers apart.
So the outcome would be allowing people without sight to finally see?
No. So I'll explain a little further. It doesn't need external power, making it energy efficient, and mimics the human retina by sending positive or negative signals based on light input. Now, this allows it to recognize patterns and perform basic computing tasks like logic operations without extra hardware. Unlike traditional cameras that capture every detail and use lots of power, this eye filters information like a human eye, which could help robots, self-driving cars, or wearable devices see better.
So they were giving a demonstration. A gentleman who had ALS, was using a computer, using a modified system of Apple's goggles. They're new, which they retailed for $3,500, so people weren't buying, oddly enough. But they've done a modified version of it that was allowing him to interact, to send emails very quickly using implants in his brain. So this seems like a step in that direction, if I'm misunderstanding.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, if it's going to help out things like, self-driving cars and wearable devices. So
he was able to detonate a nuclear bomb on the ocean floor.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty, I don't know. The technology tested with light pulses could lead to more efficient vision systems in the future. So,
maybe it's something different.
But they've made it more like a real human, what a human sees, as opposed to a camera.
This is a great leap forward in finally appreciating pornography.
You can finally...
It all comes back to that.
The machines can finally see what we see.
Now the machines can get off, too.
All right, here is another story. A professor has warned of the risks of using the bathroom and taking a dump in particular, including having a heart attack. Professor Spear, writing in The Conversation, cites examples of Elvis Presley and King George II.
They were buds.
She said Presley, aged just 42, was found collapsed on the bathroom floor of Graceland on August 16, 1977, though fans speculated about drug overdose. And it's worth noting that the full report is withheld until 2027. The post-mortem narrative reveals a more complex and tragic medical picture. She said Presley had suffered from chronic constipation, possibly exacerbated by a high-fat, low-fiber diet, prolonged opiate use, and a megacolon, which is a pathologically enlarged colon.
Megacolon is one of the transformers, correct?
On the morning of his death, he was reportedly straining forcefully. The Valsalva maneuver may have triggered a fatal arrhythmia in a heart already compromised by years of prescription drug abuse and poor health.
So I think we've all had those times.
He crapped himself to death.
Basically, where you're like, if you're constipated and have been in that situation and you're trying to force it, and you feel the pressure within your body as you're trying to, I could see that triggering something, especially if you're in the kind of horrendous shape Elvis was in.
There have been times
I gotta take it on, man,
where I have strained so hard that it's on the verge of like passing out.
You ever burst a blood vessel?
No.
Where you got a little bit of blood in your poop?
Well, yeah, I've had that happen, but I don't think it was from straining, but I have had those moments where I'm like, you feel it in there. It's right there. It's on the goddamn doorstep.
You can see it. It's standing at the door with copies of the Watchtower.
And you just, come on.
Come on, I'll let you in. It's like a vampire. You got to give it permission.
It sucks.
It's hard. So again, we've said this many times, and I think this is news you can use, Preston. Much rather have rampant diarrhea than severe constipation.
Yeah, I think so. Yep, I think it's more painful.
Everybody always complains about diarrhea, but every now and then it's a nice little cleanse.
Oh my God. It's the pause that refreshes.
By the way, a more aristocratic death occurred in 1760 when King George II of Great Britain died suddenly after visiting his privy.
I'm going to take a dump. I shan't be more than 5 minutes.
His physician, Dr. Frank Nichols, performed a rare royal autopsy.
The king's doctor was Frank Nichols?
Yeah.
Okay.
And found that the king had suffered a ruptured thoracic aortic aneurysm, a ballooning of the body's main artery.
Jeez, what happened? Cranking out a turd and you had a heart attack.
The event probably occurred as George stood up from the toilet at a moment when the blood pressure fluctuated dramatically. Historians and physicians now believe that the effort of defecation or the sudden change in posture may have been the trigger.
I can see all of this stuff. You know, we talk about gut health and we talk about this, remember the squatty potty was all the rage for a while?
Yeah.
A proper form when you're going to the bathroom. I had one for a while. I eventually got rid of it because I felt like I was an Olympic skier every time I went to take a dump.
I don't like the idea of sitting lower when going to the bathroom. I like sitting higher.
I do, yeah.
Well, you guys are tall, so for me,
you're adorable.
I am so cute.
So they said that the king's heart attack was also notably his heart was also notably diseased with significant calcification of the aortic valve, further compounding the risks posed by even minor circulatory strain. So the fact that he was trying to poop so hard, killed him.
That's what killed. So again, I think in both cases, if both these guys had been in better shape, they were clearly like Elvis was abusing the crap out of his body.
Oh yeah,
no pun intended.
Yeah, no, his colon was like totally impacted.
Yes,
compacted. I should say.
Yeah. He had
something with pacted.
Lots of it was white fecal matter. They said.
Yep.
So
Texas tea.
And they also said that people can fall into pit latrines. It's another way to die on the toilet.
Is that tangential? Yeah, I guess so.
Believe it or not, it's saying deaths around the bathroom. So,
listen. That's why when I go into one of those porta pots, I bring a hand grenade with me because if you were to fall into one of those, you don't want to go on living.
Kill me. And modern technology also poses a risk. Professor Spear said bringing your smartphone to the toilet often means longer sitting times. This increased pressure on the rectal venous plexus, which is the network of veins around the rectum, raises the risk of hemorrhoids and anal fissures.
Okay, do you bring in a phone when you're on? And do you find yourself losing a little track of time while you're scrolling?
No. I'm in there to get my business done and I get
Okay.
out. And whatever I'm in the middle of on my phone, I move along. When
Once
I'm
you hear
done.
the splash, you disconnect.
I don't like to. I don't like to just linger on the toilet any more than necessary. Hang on a second. Let me go. We have a cardiac monitor tech who is on the line. So we will go to Pete and talk to him for just a moment. Hey, Pete. Morning, bud.
Good morning. It's Keith.
Oh, Keith. Sorry about that. What's up, Keith?
Hey, I monitor patients. I'm actually on my way back from the hospital now. I monitor up to 40 patients all night long.
Wow.
And when they're throwing up or they're on the commode or they're bearing down, their heart rate goes all the way down sometimes to Scaryville.
Wow.
My dad actually passed away on the toilet.
Wow.
He was constipated. He sent my mom out to get him Gatorade, and she came back, and he was still in the bathroom, and he was gone.
Oh, my goodness.
So let me ask you, and this may not be your area of expertise, but you might know. So let's say if someone is, in this case, let me ask this question first. Was your dad in particularly bad shape? Was he out of shape? What was his physical status when this happened?
He was 88 years old. He was in great shape until the pandemic hit.
Okay.
And that's when he had to stop all his activities and he got winded and that kind of thing. But incidentally, the last day I spent with my dad was the day before Thanksgiving. We were listening to WMMR, and Pierre came on, and my dad said, "Hey, Pierre's still on the air." And I said, "How do you know Pierre?" And he said, "I used to be a limo driver, and they hired me one time to take them around Long Island to find Tom Selleck and to trick him into an interview."
I've heard of that.
I know that story.
I know that story.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, that is so cool.
After my dad passed, I got in touch with Pierre, and I said, "Hey, do you remember this?" He said, "Oh, my God, I remember that. We were sending your dad into different hotels saying, 'Oh, Mr. Selleck is here. Will he come down?' And after 2 or 3 hotels, they actually nailed him down and drove around and did an interview."
Oh, that's great.
Oh, man.
That is so great.
Wow.
But on the whole, though, you mentioned also about when you hunker down in your throat. So the exact same body reaction to constipation and throwing up, you see the same results?
Yes, I think it's called a vasovagal reaction.
That's what I had.
And
yeah, I passed out on the air because of that.
yes.
All right. Well, all right. That's kind of scary.
Yeah. Keith, thanks for sharing the story, man. We appreciate it. That's wow. That's sad and interesting to hear about your dad as well. We appreciate it, buddy. Let me go to this quick call as well. We have Joe who's joining us. Hey, Joe. Morning, bud.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Good, man. All right, you had an interesting bathroom situation.
Yeah, I'm a diabetic, so I'm on a bunch of diabetic medicine, and one of the side effects is make you very constipated. About a couple weeks ago, I was very, very constipated, and going to the bathroom, I was straining real hard. I popped a blood vessel in my eye.
You popped a blood vessel in your eye?
I didn't know it at the time. Straining real hard, your face turns red, and this, that, and the other, and next thing you know, my wife's like, "What the hell's wrong with your eye?" And there it is, blood vessel popped in my eye.
So your eye went full red, bloodshot all the way around.
Just the outside of the left eye. It was my left eye. It was just the outside.
I can see that, man. I can totally see that.
Let me ask you, if you're dealing with that a lot, what do you do for constipation? What do you do to alleviate it?
Now I just, I drink, cranberry juice. I drink whatever I can. Laxatives, but I haven't had an issue like that since that day.
All right.
But,
Okay. Well, take care of yourself.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Tell you what'll work, dude. When I went, when I actually had to go to the emergency room because I thought I had something wrong with me, bad. It was some of the most pain I've ever experienced. They're like, "Nope, you just got a lot of poop in there. You got to get it out." And enema.
Yes,
that's what did it. And it was. Oh God, did I feel better after that?
There's nothing like that. Enjoy your breakfast, by the way.
I know.
There's nothing like that release, you know? Yeah. And if you can do it in public, in front of a paying crowd,
oh my
it's
God,
so good.
Make some bucks.
Yeah.
Or at least get on OnlyFans and,
or do it on the hood of a car.
Get something productive. Yeah. Go to Delco, crap on somebody's car. Case, I assume we got to wrap this up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, I have lots of stuff. The Just Saying Institute, there have been a lot of studies that have come out lately. We'll revisit it. Maybe if we have to, we'll maybe revisit it later this week because there's just too much good stuff in there. But hopefully we've expanded your mind a little bit this morning by taking a stroll on the campus of the Just Saying Institute. We do have to take a break because we got some stuff coming up. We are going to have Mr. Tom Johnston of the Doobie Brothers joining us this morning. They've got some new music coming out, which is really, really cool.
I bet he's regular.
We are going to take a break. We'll come back in a moment. And, you know what? Let's do this now, too. We're going back to Hershey.
Yeah!
We're going to broadcast live on the 26th. It is a Thursday. And I have a family 4-pack of tickets to join us. You get into the park early. You get free parking. And you get to watch us come out and hang and watch us do the broadcast and all of that. So let's take caller number 11 at 610-660-9333. And we will set you up with those tickets.
I love it!
Call right now. We'll take a break. When we get back, not only a bizarre file, but Casey receives a special presentation award of sorts. Stay put. We'll be right back.
Preston and Steve.
Damn it.
Here's a text that says, regarding you break it, you bought it. I'm a civil attorney. If a store puts something on display that they they take the risk that something may be broken and there is no need to pay for it. You do not have to pay for anything that gets broken unless you do it intentionally.
Go take those raincoats back.
Take it back. Yeah. In fact, she takes them back. She should piss on them in front of so that's interesting.
That's what I mean. It's part of like the store insurance. It's like if somebody were to come into your store and get hurt, like you have, you know what I'm saying? You have insurance that's going to cover.
I think they're saying that by what this gentleman or woman is saying, it's because they have opted to put this out as a display. You are absolved, from anything having to do with that.
Yeah.
So you can't be compelled to pay for this then.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the
even
right
if
thing.
your dog pissed on it.
This wasn't a you break it, you buy it thing, but maybe it was. Remember we had that conversation about they made a rule because of me?
Oh, yeah.
Right. This says, didn't break it, but I reached out and pushed the Liberty Bell when I was 6, and the whole thing swung on its mount.
Oh, my God.
Holy Jesus.
Not sure that they would let me take it home if I broke it, though.
Well, it's already broken.
Like when they ceremonially ring that bell, they take a little soft mallet and just touch it to it. Like they don't actually hit it and ring it.
Yeah.
So the fact that this guy reached out and pushed it and it swung, they had to have freaked out when that happened. And then they went to a cave in Hawaii.
Yes, and then Vincent Price.
By the way, Casey's not here today. In case you hear some mystery sounds, Marissa is doing her damnedest, doing her best to wrangle the sound effects. So,
Jace didn't break anything, but he loves cars and he loves exotic cars. And so we saw a Lamborghini parked in front of a hotel, and he's like, "Mom, can I go look at the headlights?" He's obsessed with the front of the cars and the headlights. I said, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." And so he walks over, he's like, inspecting it, and then he's like, "Wow," he's like, "This is so cool." And I'm like slightly across the street just waiting for him, and as he walks around the side of the car, he takes his hand and he runs it down the whole side of the car. Now listen, not a big deal, he didn't scratch
Was he
anything.
holding keys?
But people who have that car, like now it's like a little kid's handprint down the whole side of his car. I was like, oh man,
look, I got the hood ornament, Mommy.
Seriously. I was like,
that used to be a thing.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Here's a text that says, used to work at Walmart, broke an extremely expensive exercise equipment piece. I was bored out of my mind, and I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing, and knocked it off the shelf and shattered a bunch of pieces on it. No. I put it back on the shelf, set it up so that it looks okay. Customer went to use it weeks later, and it broke instantly.
Oh, what'd you do?
Customer was insanely embarrassed and was just happy no one found out it was me.
Dear God, man, don't you have any sense?
Oh, my God.
Of how fragile things are.
Sir, what are you doing?
Have some respect for the people of the store who work diligently to make sure these things are safely displayed.
Wow.
You are to leave this Walmart.
Well, it happens. It definitely happens. So, all right. Well, thank you for the stories. We appreciate that. We do need to take a break. As I said earlier, Casey is out today, so Marissa Magnotta is playing the role of Casey Boy here in our studio today. and she's handing me things to give away, and I will comply because we have tickets to see Jurassic World Dominion.
Cool.
We have a 4-pack of tickets, and this screening will be Tuesday the 7th, so it'll be a week from today. At 7 p.m. at the UA King of Prussia, and then it hits theaters on June 10th. So we'll take callers 8, 9, and 10 at 215-263-WMMR, and those passes are on us. And while you're calling, you may want to text as well when you get a chance, because we have a Tattoo Day today. It's a chance for win with $350 gift certificate for Floating World Tattoo and Piercing for your Preston and Steve themed tattoo. They are located at 1729 South Street in Philly, and you can check out their artwork samples. Go to floatingworldtattoo.com or do a search on the Instagram. You'll be able to check them out there, too. We'll take a break. I got some B-File stories. I think you're going to like them. We'll get to them when we return. Stay there.
You know, Adam Sandler's a good actor.
Yep.
The trailer looks solid. You know that they were authentically shooting all around the area. So I'm very psyched.
Yep. Casey kind of exhaled. What?
Rocky's number one, right?
Well, I don't know. Let's find out. Well, yes, of course it's going to be number one, right?
No, it's not. No.
All right, so
it's Racing Stripes.
Number 10 on this list is Rocky 2. So that's when he ends up beating Apollo, right?
Yeah. You know what? I like Rocky too. It's not, oddly enough, it's very dismissible for me.
To me, it seems like Rocky was so successful that they were like, we need to do Rocky over again, but he wins at the end.
You kind of nailed it, and it was sort of the inevitable. He had to win. It was. So I guess that's why it held less impact for me, because you knew what was going to happen.
Yeah,
and he had to win. And they had the Adrian in the coma in the hospital and all that stuff. It was Stallone directing, and he proved he could direct.
Steve, so you mentioned Adrian in the coma.
What are we waiting for? Come on! Yeah, what are we waiting for? And you see, you don't see it, Preston, but as Mickey's in his zeal to get out of he pulls out one of the IVs.
Oh, he yanks the whole thing. She goes,
hey, I got some bad news. Somehow, one of her wires popped out and she's dead.
Is that the one where he chases the chicken too? When he's training him and has him.
And he's it's really well done. He had the priest. He has the priest that he yells to from the window. He's driving the Trans Am. Remember that? Yeah. It's well done.
Is that really where the bells come in, like the boom, and when the Rocky theme starts?
Yes.
Like not that.
No. Okay.
What the hell was that?
You know, is that the bell that they use at Eagles games?
Yeah, they use it a lot in sports events now. It's the best of the pumping you up Rocky theme music.
Yes, I agree. I love that. But Steve, I think I speak for you. There's 2 movies in that franchise, Rocky 1 and Rocky Balboa.
And sometimes I like people don't. How can you not see it?
Yeah.
I love them both. Those to me capture that spirit. And God almighty, Rocky's so good. I just watched it again in its entirety straight through, and you just appreciate how fantastic it is.
Yeah. Rocky 4 is good. It is a good movie.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's not Rocky 5.
Did you see the director's cut?
Not yet.
His edition?
Have you seen it yet?
He tweaked. No, I've seen. I've seen some of the things that they've done. They removed some of the cheese from it. Stallone did. Again, look at all the. Not only in those movies was Stallone getting into near pass out, ripped up shape to be in the movies, he was also writing and directing.
But like for
massive accomplishment.
When did that come out? 87, 88, 89, something like that?
Around that time.
It was, and they catered that movie to me. Do you know what I mean? Like to some 13, 14, 15-year-old kid. Yeah.
But I think the one like Rocky 3, Clubber Lang, and then it kind of leaves the planet for a while with Rocky 4. And then Rocky 5 tried to be, really, down to earth.
They've tried to dial it back too much.
And that's where they made Rocky just completely brain dead.
I guess Rocky Balboa was the movie that Rocky 5 was actually trying to be.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So is Creed in this franchise?
Creed is in this franchise. Okay. But let's move on to this list. Mike Cielski's column of the best and worst Philly sports movies of all time. Number 9 he puts down as Invincible as one of the best.
It's a good movie.
Franchises. Yeah, it is a good movie. There are things I liked about it and other things that didn't touch too well.
That are cheesy and hokey, but it captures, I think, the spirit of the Philadelphia sports fan. I think it's telling that there's really no victory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not. Well,
Right.
no. The victory was
You played really well.
he picked up a fumble and took it in for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Or he had a strip sack or something like that.
You did a good thing there.
I think they got 3 wins that season, Case, or something. Like, it's not-
Ladies and gentlemen, a player just did something good.
they didn't win the Super Bowl. They didn't win a playoff game. They won a game.
They won a game.
But he was a nobody.
Yeah.
who
That's
was
the
able
story.
who was able to make a difference in a game.
And
he got a couple of years out of a career out of it.
Totally,
So,
yeah.
And his friends and the bar and his kind of
These things.
Elizabeth Banks, the girl who she was a Giants fan. Remember, she's from she didn't. They thought we were going to get together, but they got together. It was very good.
Thank you.
We met a kid yesterday named Holden, and Holden is the son of one of the stars of the movie.
Oh yeah.
Gosh, what was the guy's name?
Greg Kinnear?
No.
Stink Fisher.
Stink Fisher, that's
Yeah.
it. So we met Stink Fisher's boy Holden yesterday.
Yeah,
And speaking of Greg Kinnear, he was good as Vermeil.
He was.
He was.
Yeah.
He was really good. So Invincible. Yeah, it's a good movie. All right, this one I never saw. Warrior.
Yes.
He has his number 8.
That is a really good movie. That's one of the first times I saw Tom Hardy.
Oh, that's the MMA movie?
The MMA movie.
Yeah, okay.
2 brothers, one from Philadelphia, one from Pittsburgh, battle in a mixed martial arts tournament, and in doing so learn how to love each other and come to terms with their family, turmoil, and the darkest mistakes and moments of their past.
It's not a bad movie by any stretch. It's a good movie. It's engaging.
It just sort of wraps up a little bit too quick. I actually just watched it for the first time maybe a month or 2 months ago.
They
And I-
should have had 6 jars of farts.
Well, I just thought it just sort of wrapped up too tidily and too nice and very quickly.
Agreed. You know what,
know?
though? Here's the deal. Do you guys agree with this in general? Give me enough of what a good sports triumph movie should have, and I'll play along through the cheesy, hokey stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And
yep.
so, and Warriors did that.
And what this movie, so now that we have all these streaming things, so this movie just wrapped up too quickly because they only did it in a 2 hour
They were supposed to go
span.
into space.
No. But they did it they only had 2 hours to
Right.
get this
Yep.
whole story together. And now with all these streaming platforms, you can give it the treatment that it perhaps
It's
needs.
basically what Frank Grillo's series did.
Yeah.
You know, it was the same thing. He was able to carry it out over a longer run.
Yep.
Number 7 on this list of best Philly sports movies, Creed, at number 7. And
Creed's great.
I liked it. I thought it was a really
And Stallone.
Here's what I loved in Creed, and slight spoiler alert on this, but Rocky's retired. He's definitely not fighting anymore. He's training Apollo Creed's son. But in true Rocky form, they find a way to make him train and fight again, but he's fighting cancer.
Yeah.
And they treat it almost like he's training for a boxing match. And I'm like, they did it.
Brilliant.
I'm like, they did it. They got Rocky to fight without fighting. He's fighting a battle of cancer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I thought it was brilliant. I
It
thought
was like an analogy.
it was
Wait, what?
An analogy. That's when you have hay fever.
How do you spell
That's
that?
an allergy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But I thought
K-A-T.
I thought it was brilliantly done the way they handled that part of it.
Do you know
And-
what it's like in Rocky Balboa, Preston, the conceit that had the video game pairing.
Yeah. How did they make it happen?
Yes,
And they did it.
That was really well done.
And they also in that movie were able to introduce the word John to the rest of the world.
That is true. She explains it to them, and they start using it in the movie. And then number 6 on this list, I like this movie. It's a dark movie. Big fan.
Yeah, oh my God! Yeah, with Patton Oswalt.
With Patton Oswalt.
It was
Casey, you got to watch
tremendous
it.
performance.
It's Casey.
I've
like
seen the beginning of it.
as a football fan and somebody who will spar occasionally with Giants fans. You'll love the dynamic between those guys.
Only a little part of it takes place in Philly.
Yeah.
But he has a spat with a guy from Philadelphia Phil is what he
Yes.
calls himself, and that's
Rappaport.
Michael Rappaport.
Yeah.
And it's a dark look at somebody who really takes their fandom too far.
It's gotten away from them.
Too seriously.
It impacts their life to a ridiculous amount. But Patton Oswalt, I was like, that's my first time seeing him in like a dramatic turn.
Yeah.
I was like, he was really good
All
in
right.
it. But yeah, Casey,
I'll give it a go.
It's a good movie, and it's an interesting dynamic. I don't want to give it away, but he gets put in a strange position where his quote unquote fandom takes over.
Yes.
You'll have to see it.
Plus,
but
there's a radio element to it as well.
Yeah.
So, like, dealing with sports radio and what they have to deal with, those guys down the hall, like on a daily basis, is an interesting dynamic as well.
But then also, the thing is, the radio callers, they start to become like their own character, right?
Yep. Uh-huh.
They have their own nicknames that they've given themselves, and so they play into it as well. So.
All right, here's one I'm not familiar with. It's called The Last Game.
I saw it on the list as well. I'd heard the title. I've never seen it.
All right, so Kathy, this will be interesting to you because it's in Bucks County. He said it's a personal favorite. This documentary by a pair of independent filmmakers chronicles 1999 Central Bucks High School West football season.
Oh, yeah.
The final season in the storied career of Mike Pettin.
Yeah, Mike Pettin. So that guy had his long storied career.
Okay.
Coaching was at CB West. And as a matter of fact, my brother's, when he played for Cardinal O'Hara, played against his team.
I think there was a lot of indication of steroid use and stuff like that, right? Is that what this documentary is, or no?
I'll read you the description. It says, from CB West rivalry with North Penn, coached at the time by Mike Pettin Jr., to the Bucks' dramatic run to a third consecutive state championship. The story had plenty of natural drama and intriguing storylines, and anyone familiar with the history of Doylestown and or
On 93.3 WMMR.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you by Sequoia Outback. Celebrate freedom from your aging deck and get serious savings during Sequoia's 4th of July sale. Route 309 in Hatfield and online at decksupplies.com. So you may have seen a little bit of this, but there was a follow-up to it. A runaway pet zebra that was on the loose for more than a week in Tennessee and became an internet sensation in the process was just captured on Sunday. Ed the zebra was captured safely after being located in a pasture in central Tennessee. The sheriff's office said the aviation crews captured the zebra. They said in a statement, Ed was airlifted and flown by helicopter back to a waiting animal shelter. And there's video of Ed wrapped in a net with his head sticking out.
It is pretty cool.
As they're flying him through the sky and taking him to the trailer. Ed had arrived in Christiana, Tennessee on May 30th. The sheriff's office said his owner reported him missing the next day. The zebra was spotted and filmed running along Interstate 24, forcing deputies to shut down the roadway, but Ed escaped into a wooded area. There were several sightings posted to social media. He was filmed trotting through a neighborhood. The zebra quickly became the subject of internet memes. One fake posting showed Ed dining at a Waffle House. Others had him visiting other Tennessee cities or panhandling on the side of the road.
By the way, the zebra, they showed him running at a full gallop. They're pretty fast.
Yeah, the pursuit of
They're
Ed
almost like horses with stripes, Preston.
came a month after a runaway kangaroo had shut down a section of an Alabama interstate. A now former DoorDash driver is facing multiple charges after police said that he went to a DoorDash customer's house armed with a gun and demanded a cash tip. According to Vancouver police, 59-year-old Robert Deland came back to an area home the following day after an order demanding a bigger tip in cash.
See, when I make a DoorDash order, I do not check the box that allows them to do that.
A police report revealed the homeowner, Anthony Valino, told officers that his daughter ordered about $100 in groceries and tipped through the app, but Delhant was not satisfied. The next morning, about 10 a.m., Valino says he showed up angry, upset that he had not gotten a cash tip the day before, which was actually noted on the order. And he said, "You forgot to give me my tip." Things quickly escalated into a scuffle, and that is when Valino spotted a gun tucked in Delant's waistband.
Jesus.
He said he stepped to the right, I stepped to the left, and I reached behind him, and I felt the steel in his waistband, and as soon as I felt the gun in his waistband, my heart just sank. The only thing on my mind was that I had to get that gun away from him. I was in a struggle for my life, and I was thinking it's me or him. Valino ended up disarming Deland, and both men called 911. Police arrived soon after and arrested Deland. No one was hurt in the incident. A DoorDash spokesperson said that they have a zero-tolerance policy for harassment of any kind and said what happened was unacceptable and the dasher involved was immediately deactivated.
So there's no sort of gray area for threatening a customer at gunpoint?
I don't think so. And Valina added, this is for a job that they're already paid for. This is the customer's decision whether to tip or not. He can't make that decision that I'm going to go to somebody's house to get a cash tip. He just can't make that choice.
I love in the footage, too, when he gets knocked to the ground, he's like, can I have my gun back? Like,
Yeah, right.
No.
No, I don't think so.
Douchebag.
So 2 miniature Highland cows tied the knot in Oxford County, Ontario on Friday evening in a moving first-of-its-kind ceremony. Dressed in a white gown and adorned with a flower crown, Muriel made her way down the aisle to her beloved bovine Rhett.
Yeah.
Cheryl Haskett, the co-founder of Utterly Ridiculous Farm Life,
I get it,
said Muriel came to the farm, and then we needed to get her friend, and then we needed to get her a future boyfriend.
You heard the story, right? She had slept with the best man?
No.
Yeah.
So she said, we went on a search for Rhett and to find the most beautiful, handsome boy for her. Both cows came to the farm as calves and grew up in neighboring pastures. As Haskett and staff shared their stories with visitors, the idea of a bovine marriage was born. She said, we kept having guests saying, you really need to have a wedding for these cows.
It's wonderful. I've made love to that cow myself.
Months of planning brought Muriel's dream wedding to life, complete with a traditional Highland kilt for the groom, as well as personalized vows.
You know what? This looks more fun than a lot of the weddings I've been to.
Other animals were also included in the ceremony, including a goat named Queen Victoria, along with her kids. The bovines' big day drew a big crowd with dozens of guests milking the moment.
I just saw this video last week that I got to try out for myself. It says that, and this is not a dad joke, that cows are attracted to jazz music. And so this person goes over to this pasture and starts playing Green Onions.
I saw that.
And sure enough, like, dude, I'm talking dozens of cows just run over to the fence.
Like immediately.
Yeah,
it was really
like,
cool.
Oh, I love this is my jam.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. So a team
We need to try that.
of physicists from a British university used nanotechnology to create what they dubbed the world's smallest violin, an instrument that can't be seen without a microscope.
This is great.
The Loughborough University team said the platinum violin measured 35 microns, a measurement unit equal to 1/1,000,000th of a meter long and 13 microns wide. The violin is smaller than the diameter of a human hair, which ranges from 17 to 180 microns. Tardigrades, 8-legged micro animals, measure between 50 to 1,200 microns long. The researchers created the minute musical instrument to demonstrate the abilities of their new nanolithography system. It's technology that allows scientists to build and study nanoscale objects and structures. The instrument was chosen as a play on the phrase, can you hear the world's smallest violin playing just for you?
And it does actually play?
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Professor Kelly Morrison said, though creating the world's smallest violin may seem like fun and games, a lot of what we've learned in the process is actually lay the groundwork for research that we've now undertaken. And the head of the university's physics department had called a success in the news release.
Means one day they will be able to put a full orchestra in a human rectum.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's pretty amazing.
I will stand up and applaud on that particular day. All right, and that's all we have time for in the bizarre file for you this morning. All right, it's time to meet a couple of people that we have in the studio, and they have a very cool thing that they're going to give, they're going to mention and give. They're going to award this morning. So we would like to welcome the host of the Delco Live podcast and the organizers of Delco Day, which, by the way, officially Delco Day is today because it's June 10th. It's 6/10.
Yep.
The area code. So we want to welcome Al Zafiri and Hollywood Holbrook.
Yeah.
Thank you.
To the show this morning. Gentlemen, nice to see you today.
Gentlemen, I don't know about.
All right. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. So the official Delco Day celebrations was this past weekend, correct?
Yeah, we always run it on the Saturday closest to the 10th, so we're not out there going all day on a Tuesday.
How many years for this?
This is the 10th one.
10th year.
10th official one.
Good for you, man.
And how many different locations? Because I know that you guys were at JT Brewski's
5.
and then,
5. It was a different place the first 2 years, then it was Marty McGee's for a long time, JT Brewski's 2 years, and then,
And in true Delco fashion, they were like, we don't want you back here next year.
Yes.
And so Dolan's was like, yeah, we'll take it.
A lot of drama. We were quoting each other's high school football stats at each other.
Is it wild to see this? This is a thing now.
Absolutely.
I mean, you have to stick with something to get it, in people's, mental catalog there. But here you have it, and it's proven to be something that has traction.
It was true grassroots, too. The first time we did it in 2016, we did it at a bar that has changed names 5 times and is closed. Yep. And it was only 5 bands, mostly like punk bands.
Right.
50 people showed up. We raised a little over $1,000 for one charity. Next year, 2 stages. became the whole 12-hour thing. A couple hundred people showed up.
Nice.
And then at 3 is when we got involved with Headstrong and all that. And we'd rebranded and kind of had a really good year in 2018. And, we're talking thousands of people showing up.
Excellent. Excellent.
And we charge $6.10 at the door.
There you go.
Inflation-proof since 2016.
Yeah.
And since then, we've raised it's close to $200,000 for local charities.
So if you ever want to change, or if you ever want to charge more, will you have to change the area code? Is that how? Yeah.
We would probably have to. And
just to keep things.
But what's the new one? 8 something now? There's a new area code coming out in Delco. So
Is that what they're talking about?
Yeah, we'll just change it to 8 whatever.
There you go.
Whatever's
Yeah.
higher.
Yeah.
Can't go 215. That's less money. And,
Right.
Yeah, so it wouldn't make
Even
any sense.
484 wouldn't work in this case.
Right.
No,
Exactly. How long have you guys been doing your podcast?
Al started it in 2012.
Yes.
Okay.
I jumped in 2014, and then we rebranded right around 2018.
And for the Delco Day event, when you guys do that, what are the types of activities besides bands and stuff like that? Do you guys have contests or anything along those lines, or giveaways?
Live music. There's a dunk tank going on this year. We do at 6 o'clock into 6:10. We do a thing where we hand out little flags that my amazing girlfriend Danielle custom makes and hands out to people who are not native to Delco that just want to be part of the culture, whatnot. Yeah. We do a little swearing-in ceremony, get some speeches about the charity and everything else, and just let everyone remind them to just go full Delco.
Do you know the swearing-in pledge offhand?
No, there's no way.
We change it.
And we actually didn't even get a chance to do that this year because we had to skip it because there was a little rain delay at one point.
So it's reverential but tongue-in-cheek as well.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's a girlfriend too.
It's
There we
less,
go. Yeah.
It's the swearing is a lot less cult-like than it sounds when I say it out loud.
It's really no bloodletting.
Yeah.
All right,
well, listen. So you guys have brought something this morning.
Yes.
A presentation to make.
When we realized it's the 10th one, it's full of cloud, all the things we did and all that. We were like, we're going to hand out an award this year, and it's going to be for a legend, and we're going to call it obviously the Delco Legend Award.
Okay.
And we figured who's the most Delco person we possibly know or have even heard of. And it is Casey Boy.
How about that?
From his humble upbringing in Rutledge, PA, named after Abe Lincoln's side piece.
Yeah.
His journey through Granite Run, out here to Bala Cynwyd, and all the way to every radio in the tri-state area and across the world. Casey Boy has been spreading just what Delco is, doing it right, doing it with justice, and he is by far worthy of the Delco Legend.
How about that? Wow.
And he has. You will find no bigger Delco advocate than Casey. He is never suffers any defamatory comments about Delco. And as a true Delco resident, only a Delco resident can impugn Delco.
Oh, yeah. True.
And by the way, he'll never leave Delaware County.
Never.
As a resident.
You're goddamn right.
And it's fitting that he gets it in a year, and especially a time where Delaware County is just taking over, whether it's a pope or poop.
Yes. Yeah.
Or potentially a saint.
A saint?
Sure.
Yeah.
Are we talking about Father Atkinson?
Yeah, we're talking about Father Atkinson, who was at Bonner, Monsignor Bonner High School.
How about that?
And,
No, Casey's saying he's going to be a saint. That was what he was trying to tell you.
Yeah, no, seriously, they're talking about canonizing this guy.
I'm going to hand the trophy over to Casey.
Wow.
It's the most Delco trophy we can make. Obviously ordered off Amazon, and then I printed out the base and the nameplate.
We used glue from Temu.
You didn't go to Kelly's Trophies?
No, we wish we did, but we didn't. We forgot. Kelly's is great.
By the way, the nameplate is Scotch taped on.
Yes.
By the way, so yeah.
And if it makes it even better, I didn't know I didn't have a color printer at work. So it's in monochrome.
And I love that it's a little off-center, too, which is awesome.
Well, that's
This is the most Delco trophy you could ever award somebody. I thank you.
There's beer in there.
There's a flag sticking out of the top of it that, once again, Danielle made that says unofficial mayor of Delco with the uncrossed out.
What I love also is that, yes, I think you are the first recipient of this Legend Award. Will it, in fact, a la the Cecil B. DeMille Award, will it carry that moniker, or is it one and done? Like, when it's awarded next year, will it be the Casey Boy Legend Award?
Oh, at some point, I believe it's going to become
okay,
that.
all right.
You're asking a Delco guy to think ahead. that doesn't happen.
At 12:01 a.m. tonight, I'm not thinking about Delco Day until January.
Did you guys even consider anyone else? Like, did anyone float across the radar? Because Casey's the obvious and best choice.
Actually, we thought about ourselves. Yeah. But then we're like, I guess it wouldn't.
You know what really sucks?
That would
is-
seem self-serving.
Yeah, a little bit.
Jason Kelsey is now starting to steal my Delco thunder.
Right.
Is he? Yeah, he's a Delco resident.
But he's
and
not a native,
and
so
he's,
we
and he's
transplant.
not.
So
no.
we unofficially swore him in. So,
Okay.
Casey boy, that came into play, and I came up with a metaphor from 2009 where The Hurt Locker won Best Movie over Jarhead.
Yeah. Right.
Or sorry, Jarhead won over Avatar.
Right.
Okay.
Because one's about a Marine that got disabled, and the other one's a fictional story about a Marine that got disabled. We wanted to go with the realest of them.
Okay.
That makes sense.
And Casey being the realist.
Well, listen,
Yes.
thank you for this award. I started working with Preston and Steve back in 1998. Like I had immediately become a champion for Delaware County on the air. And I feel like since 1998, for the past 27 years, there's just been this swelling of Delco pride. And I think it started on the Preston and Steve show.
Well, Preston, you tell the story. You were cleaning clothes by the riverside, and a wicker basket floated by.
It was.
And there he was.
It spoke to me, and I'm like, this is my destiny to raise this
I will
child.
raise him as my producer.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, and listen, big shout out and thank you goes to PJ Dolan as well.
Yes.
For hosting your event and for hosting us in the podcast a couple of weeks ago. That guy is I should probably have him in my cabinet. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
definitely.
My cabinet would be PJ Dolan, Brent Porsche, Mike Vito. Those guys are all Delco legends as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
As well as you guys are as well.
No.
No, you guys are carrying the flag. We appreciate it.
It's only way I got out of my house at 42 years old.
The Delco Live podcast. How often are you guys putting out episodes?
Supposed to be every other Tuesday. Sometimes we get a little loose with that schedule.
Okay.
Which is a perfectly Delco way to approach it. Yeah.
And you jump on and get it, like Spotify or where do you find it?
Social media, Facebook, YouTube.
Okay.
Yep, all over the place.
Delco Live podcast. Cool.
And DelcoLive.com. Too.
Do you do any other events besides the Delco Day? Or?
Ones will pop up here
Okay.
and there, but this is our Super Bowl, our WrestleMania, our World Series. Like,
What's the next in the queue? Do you have one, or are you still having to plan that?
The golf tournament. We don't normally do the Delco Masters, which is at a putt-putt.
Yes.
Yeah. And you have to dress like you are at the Masters, and it's usually for charity.
I
And we
love
always
that.
pick, it's like, you try to pick the hottest day of the year just so it's miserable.
Right.
Nothing like some hot felt on a nice little
We had a guy
summer
dressed
day.
like a Happy Gilmore.
Yes.
Like full on. Spent $300 on a golf club.
I love that you guys call it putt-putt, too. That's what I grew up calling it,
Well,
putt-putt.
are you doing it at Putt Putt or are you doing it at the Delco land?
It's always a putt-putt. We got a nice
Okay.
little
All right.
relationship with them.
Yeah.
All right, well, listen, thank you, guys.
No, thank
We're
you.
so
Very
proud.
good.
Got shirts and stuff for you guys.
Thank
since you
you.
couldn't make it. So we appreciate you guys. And Casey, thank you. Because Casey always supported us.
Yeah.
Even before, he always would like our stuff, mention us, talk to us. So we appreciate you guys. Keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you. And he was very sort of humble about this. I said we said no, we have to have this on the air.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you to Alan Hollywood for being here this morning.
Thank you. Happy Delco Day, everyone.
Check out the Delco Live podcast, my friends. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back in a moment. Tom Johnston of the Doobie Brothers joining us in just a little while, so we return in a few. Stay with us, please.
Preston and Steve.
Under Patton, the Bucks were arguably the top program in the country and can attest to the film's accuracy.
Okay, so maybe
it doesn't
maybe
cover-
that's
or
not it.
He didn't explain that in this.
Didn't
but
delve into that.
He did not delve. Thank you. All right, so I don't know if you consider this a sports movie or not, but number 4 is Silver Linings Playbook.
I could see where you could in a way because it's so essential to De Niro's character and it's a prominent character in the movie, and also, Bradley Cooper's. Is it technically?
No, unless you consider the dance competition to be sport as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're constantly the movie revolves around watching the games and the betting
And
that's taking place.
superstition.
Yeah,
And
and
the rituals,
superstition as well. And you know what, man? I know it won all the awards and people loved it. I didn't really like it a whole lot.
So how many stars out of 4 would you give it?
Like
you can do half stars if you.
Yeah, maybe like 2.5, and that's just on a personal thing.
I thought it was okay.
I didn't love the characters, but some people, like my buddy's daughter, it is like her all-time favorite movie.
So for me, 3 stars, enjoyable. I like their romance, the flawed characters, and that's it. I agree it wasn't as massive as it was depicted as, but a good movie.
But it struck a chord with a lot of people.
Was
so.
it up for like Oscars? And
Yes.
stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she, Jennifer Lawrence, won an Oscar.
I couldn't remember.
Best Supporting Actress, right?
I believe
Didn't
so.
She win for that. Yeah.
Actress in a leading role.
Leading role. Yeah, that's right. That wasn't a supporting role.
And it was nominated for Best Picture and Best Actor for Bradley Cooper, Best Supporting Actor, De Niro. So, yeah, a lot of nominations.
Okay. If we're leaving anything out, please feel free to give us a call. All right, 215-263-WMMR. These are the best Philly sports movies. This is Mike Cielski, columnist, who wrote this article. Number 3 on this list, okay, strange movie, Foxcatcher.
DuPont.
Yeah, and I know they take a little bit of license with the actual story in it, but Steve Carell is just like gross.
He's goo-goo for Go-Go Bugs.
He is that. He's nutty. He goes over the top. But it's a
you don't recognize Carell too, by the the prosthesis or whatever he's wearing.
Yep. And what's his name? Who plays the
Channing
wrestler?
Tatum?
No.
Anthony Michael Hall?
No.
Mark Ruffalo?
Mark Ruffalo. He got really beefed up for that role.
Yeah.
He's hard to recognize, but it's a messed up story, and that whole John DuPont going off the rails mental illness thing.
Wrestlers in the walls.
Yeah. It's crazy, and it's kind of hard to watch. But another, dramatic role that you're not used to seeing Steve Carell in. Number 2, speaking of wrestling, The Wrestler.
Yeah.
He considers that a Philadelphia sports movie.
So it's taking place in proximity? Is it? I didn't make the connection that it's...
They end up in Atlantic City at one point, right?
Right.
Yes.
I think. When he reunites with his daughter.
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider it a Philly movie, though.
Me either, but I guess it's
a great
proximity.
movie.
Maybe that last match takes place in the Philadelphia region. I don't remember.
The one
It's been a
thing you
while.
can't argue is that from beginning to end, it is so funny.
It's hilarious. No, it is a brilliant movie.
It's heart-wrenching.
And it's tough. It's tough to watch. There are a lot of heartbreaks in that movie. But
And
it's
you
great.
understand why he won the Oscar.
Yeah. Number 1 on this list is Rocky.
Yes.
Of course. Yeah. So he puts that in as the great, and I agree.
And the way it should be.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, I think he really made a mistake by leaving Rocky Balboa off of here.
Oh, my God.
that
Yeah. No,
movie's-
that's more than Silver Linings Play. I know you go to the Rocky well a lot with these things because, that is the most famous sports movie to come out of this city.
Is that the best Philadelphia movie? Is it better than Philadelphia? Is it better than...
The boxing scene in Philadelphia is not as good because he's so sick.
Is it better than The Sixth Sense?
He didn't stand a chance.
No. Why did it even make that match?
I think it's the greatest Philadelphia movie ever.
Okay.
Or it's the one that I immediately think of. But
even over the Philadelphia Experiment?
But what did you mention?
Sixth Sense, Philadelphia.
Sixth Sense. Pretty
Unbreakable
freaking
is
good.
a Philadelphia movie.
Yeah.
Maybe that's another topic for another time.
That's a tough call. Wow. Interesting. All right. Let me ask you this. Speaking of topics, and this is one to bring up out of nowhere. What is the Philadelphia sports movie yet to be made? What story? What story is out there that would make for a good movie?
I know one.
And you can't just say the Eagles Super Bowl because a team wins the Super Bowl every year. It's got to have something.
Rob Zombie's
beyond that.
Broad Street Bullies.
Broad Street Bullies.
was supposed to be made.
Yeah.
It was like 60% on the way.
Yeah.
And it was looked like it was going to happen, and it didn't.
Yeah, that's a good story, and sort of the rise out of coming out of nowhere because they were a young franchise at the time, right? They were 67, 68 is when they were started, and so they won the Stanley Cup by 74. For me, the Eric Lindros story is a fascinating one. The rise and fall of that guy. And his departure when he left in 99, 2000.
That would make for interesting.
What was it? I'm sorry?
The rise and fall of Eric Lindros.
Okay.
The taking of the captaincy off of his jersey. They did it on live television. The Bob Clark and Ed Snyder versus Eric's dad, Carl. And like all of that drama to me is fascinating.
There was a brief period in time where Daniel Day-Lewis had signed to play Barbara.
No.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
He's amazing.
He is amazing.
In that
he can pull it off.
suit?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
No, I think the story of Leonard Toast, the former owner of the Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, he essentially lost the team because of, I believe, gambling.
Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. Somebody pointed this out. Nick, you'll have to remind me. Somebody said the Flyers versus the Red Army. Didn't they play the national Russian team? The Flyers did as their warm up for Olympics. I thought.
Well, it was an international series.
Yeah. And the Flyers played so dirty.
They left the ice.
That they left the ice, right?
It was a game at the Spectrum, and the Flyers were a physical team.
No, we didn't play the hockey the best that we could have, but we played to win.
I think that was 76.
And you not know neither borscht.
But that could have been. Was that Broad Street Bullies?
Yeah, I mean, it was after they won the Stanley Cup, but they were still the same team, essentially, and they played rough, and the Dave Schultz and the Watson brothers and the whole nine, and they played so tough against the Red Army team that the Red Army team said, we're not playing anymore. They left the ice, and it took forever for them to come back out.
I would like to see the movie that depicts the setting of 3 world records in the dumpster pool.
Oh,
sure.
In one day.
In one day.
Yeah, that could be a good one.
I mean, we have a documentary of it, but I think, something a little bit more dramatic.
A number of callers are saying that this one should be on the list. I'm going to go to Chris. Hey, Chris, good morning.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Good. What's up, buddy?
So I'm going to premise this. I am not an Eagles fan. I cannot stand the Eagles. I can't even stand the color green. That's how much I can't stand the Eagles.
Wow. Okay.
Should I hang up on him now?
Well, I don't know. Where are you from, Chris?
I'm from this area. I'm a Philly guy. I'm from Newark, Delaware. I love the Flyers. I bleed black and orange. Like, I'm a diehard Flyers fan.
Okay.
That's not the only team I bleed for Philly. So that's why it's kind of shocking. I'm calling about this movie here. It's the garbage picking, field goal kicking Philadelphia phenomenon with Tony Danza.
Tony Danza. Yeah, that's
he went from a garbage man to a field goal kicker for the Eagles.
Among the worst movies
It's a
ever made.
classic. Yeah.
It's so bad.
I've never seen it. I've heard of it.
Well,
It's very bad.
You should rent it. And actually, you should rent out a theater and go watch it there.
That bad, Chris, huh?
Yeah, somebody pointed out to me I have a phobia with green. They're like, you don't like Seattle, you don't even like the Dolphins, you don't like Green Bay. I'm like, well, maybe I just don't like the color green. Apparently,
That's probably it.
That might be it.
All right, thanks, man.
Make sure you see it in IMAX.
The trash picking, field goal kicking,
Philadelphia
phenomenon. Okay,
it's bad,
and he just happened to, yeah. All right, let me go to our buddy Craig Legons is online. Hey, Craig, good morning.
By myself, I'll take his office.
Physically and sexually.
We'll go behind that shed there. All right, Craig. So, are you calling in for what needs to be told? The story that would make a good movie?
Yeah, that, and there's also a movie that a lot of people haven't seen. It's called Snipes, that was set here in Philly. It's not a sports movie, but it's a competition film, and I always thought it made a good sports movie. It was about the culture of tagging. See all graffiti art in Philly?
Right.
Well, there was this movie called Snipes where rival taggers, rival graffiti artists, competed with each other to see who could get the best spot, like the most impossible to get spot to tag their name in Philly.
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, it was made in early 2000, but I thought it was a great Philly sports film. As far as the movie that should be a film, Nick, you mentioned Eric Lindros. That's a great one. For me, would be the Chris Carter story. When Chris Carter was a Philadelphia Eagle.
All he did was score touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, why would you cut this guy? All he did was score touchdowns, and goes to Minnesota, goes in the Hall of Fame. His drug problem was so out of control while he was in Philly that Buddy Ryan cut him just so he would get into rehab. And Chris Carter even mentions that Buddy Ryan's the one that saved his life.
Okay.
That sounds compelling.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I like Chris Carter now as a commentator, but his time in Philly was nothing but success on the field and nothing but tragedy off the field.
What about sports scandals and in the area? What would make for a compelling movie?
Well, the 93 Phillies, there's a lot of scandals surrounding those guys, and they made it to the World Series. That's the Mitch Williams, Joe Carter series. But there were so many steroids on that 93 team. And Lenny Dykstra and Pete Incaviglia and Darren Dalton. There's a story to be told there.
This is my daughter. Hi, Daddy.
Also, Pete Rose's time in Philly during the strike year, because he was on the verge of breaking the record for the most hits in National League, and he couldn't play for a while. So that was, many people consider that was when the time he had off was when the gambling really kicked in when he was in Philly.
I think the story is just in the beginning, and it's being told right now. But Jordan Mailata, the left tackle for the Eagles, I mean, here's a guy who never played a down of football, was a rugby player, an enormous rugby player coming out of Australia, and he is. I mean, he's one of the best left tackles in the entire league.
It sounds like the story to Kangaroo Jack.
Yeah.
Or Joel Embiid, who didn't start playing basketball until he was 14.
Yeah.
He played soccer, and now look at him. He's pretty good.
That's pretty. He's pretty good. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Craig. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, guys.
Somebody texted in the sports story that needs to be told. Philadelphia sports story needs to be told. The Dick Button story.
The Dick Button story.
Yes,
I love it.
Skater. Yes, we should definitely do the Dick Button story.
Button, Dick.
Yeah, it sells itself. I see the poster right now.
That's my name backwards.
Some people are texting in Iverson.
It's his birthday, so sure.
It is his birthday.
What do you think? What do you think with that?
Yeah.
There's a story there, right?
There was a downfall there too, and a pretty bad one. And the fact that how much fame he had and how good he was, and the whole no practice and all that. I think there's definitely a story there.
Do you think there would ever be, and would have ties to here, a Kobe Bryant story? I don't know if his family would want something like that, at least not now.
Right.
But I mean, because of the way he tragically died and all of that. But I mean, clearly there's a story there. I mean, he went on to be one of the absolute greatest.
Look, they can take one incident and build a movie around it. They've done it many times.
Yeah, true. Yeah. You don't have to do the whole life.
Right.
You can do a portion of what's happening in someone's life.
Like the wrestler focused on mainly his good years.
Yeah. Let me go. Hang on. Let me go to Daniel. Hey, Daniel. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning, Gadzooks.
Gadzooks, buddy. All right. What's the movie you wanted to mention?
A movie I wanted to mention was about the Taney Dragons back in 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
When they went into the Little League World Series.
They
had Monet Davis as their pitcher. And
Monet, that's right.
They were destroying.
Yeah.
And that was a national story for a while.
Yeah, that could be a good one. What is she up to, by the way, Monet Davis?
Is she playing?
Thanks for your call, Daniel.
College softball?
Here, Nick just pulled up.
Well, she's 20.
And that's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
All right, thank you, Marissa. Steve, you want to mention something?
Yeah, can I just give a quick shout out to people who get stuck in traffic every morning and choose to listen to us, because listening to Marissa's traffic report, I'm going to do right now, that's for you.
Yeah,
putting up with that.
Most definitely. That's one of the perks of getting up at 3:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
And going to work is that you don't have to sit in that garbage. You guys call life every day. My apologies that you have to sit through that, but we do what we can to kind of ease the sting if we have the possibility. I would like to send congratulations out to the graduating class of 2025 for Souderton Area High School. I was at the ceremonies last night. My youngest child, Caleb, has graduated. This is our last one from high school. We are done with that world.
I was chuckling at, you gave a couple of text updates about, obviously it is alpha. Well, you explained.
Yeah, so I texted these guys last night, and by the way, it was a beautiful night for a ceremony. It was,
I'm glad.
It was cloudy, yet we had peaks of sun coming through, and it was cool and comfortable.
Yeah.
There was no real threat of rain. It looked like it might have been, but it made it, I mean, when it's hot, it's a nightmare when you go to those things and you got to sit out there forever. So I had texted you guys last night to say that the graduating class had 598 students. Oh. And my real last name starts with the letter W. So therefore, my child was student number 586.
Oh, my God.
Of the names to go through. I want to see how long you guys think it took, because I started a timer.
Right.
From the very first name to the end. How long? Just guesstimating.
It's been a while since I've seen the average speed of processing on these things. And it began when?
I don't know. I just started a timer.
Okay.
So how many, however long do you think, what length of time do you think it took to go through 598 names?
Okay.
All right, I'll wild guess 2 hours and 10 minutes.
All right, what do you think, Nick?
72 minutes.
All right, Casey is calculating.
I
What do you
was
think?
I was going to calculate, but I just don't have enough time. I'm thinking one name every 5 seconds. So, God, I don't go to Marissa first, so I can do a little
Marissa?
math in my head.
9 hours and 42 minutes is probably what it felt like.
I'm going to say an hour.
It was, and I started a timer exactly 20 minutes and 30 seconds long.
Holy hell.
We could not believe how fast they were tearing through this. So they had 2 separate presenters. They had kids lining up on either side of the stage, and they were just doing name. And if you wanted to yell or applaud, it was like, hey! And then you had to stop because we wanted everybody to hear the names.
No, absolutely.
But it was, and I think the students appreciated it.
Oh, sure.
Because it was just right. As they got like a quarter of the way through, we're all kind of looking at each other going, dude, this is like flying. But my favorite part of the evening was I looked down at my phone as they're going through name after name after name. Carter had texted me 2 words. Julie Jerkoff. And I was cracking up.
Julie Jerkoff.
It was perfect.
Forgive me, Kirkhoff.
Forgive me. That's almost unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is a distortion of time.
Yeah.
That you could 500 kids
and
plus.
even the speeches leading up to it. So you
Right.
had the principal, you had the school board, you had the class president, the salutatorian, the valedictorian. There was a little music. The senior choir sang. That only took like 35 minutes.
Get out.
The whole thing was done real quick.
So the general consensus of the crowd in favor of this, because I know sometimes people want their moment. They want to be so.
Well, I mean, according to the kids that I spoke to, they were like,
Loved it.
The last thing they want to do is just sit there for like 2.5 hours.
We had in my graduating class, this is 300 years ago, it was like 1,000 plus. And it seemed to take forever. And it was just one at a time. It was a freaking nightmare. Wow. And it was on a hot, sunny day out on the football field. It was horrible.
I mean, the funny thing is like nobody really wants to be there. You know what I mean? Like you're proud of your child and you want to celebrate your child, but you're like, man, I'm going to sit here for 2 hours. Like who in their right mind actually wants to do that? Now, listen, at my son's graduation this past year, the speeches were really, really great. It took a while. They definitely let it breathe. And this is why I have a question for you, Preston, because they would announce a kid's name. The kid would go get their diploma, pose for a picture with the principal, and then or the president, and then they would go off onto the side of the stage and have another picture taken. So did they take pictures as they were getting their diplomas?
I don't know. If they did, I didn't notice. I mean, we're talking about a lot of people. It's a big class.
Yeah.
I assume as they were being handed the diploma that, yes, there was probably a picture that was being taken.
I'm fairly certain that because I went to Catholic high school, so you have a mass, baccalaureate. And I'm fairly certain my baccalaureate and graduation ceremony were at the same time. Like, so it was baccalaureate first and then graduation.
There were two people talking simultaneously?
So, no. Well, I mean, back to back. And so at my kids, their baccalaureate was the day before, and then the graduation was the next day. And that way it wasn't, 4 hours long. At my graduation, they didn't announce our names, and I think it's because they did the baccalaureate and the graduation ceremony.
The only reason I went to our baccalaureate ceremony was because I was in the band, and we had to perform a song while we were there, and I was like, this is stupid. What am I doing? What is the point of this event?
Right.
And so we got done playing our song, and I turned over to my teacher. I'm like, are we doing anything else? He goes, no, I'm out of here. I left.
Right, yeah.
I got the hell. I didn't want to be around for that. It's stuffy. I was ready for school to be over.
Are you ready for the summer?
Oh, my God. But Casey, one thing I did note, per your, you asked me to make an observation, and this is on the school grounds, public school grounds. A lot of people were lighting up cigars at the end of it on the football field, which is an artificial turf. I couldn't believe they were letting them do that. They probably weren't technically, but they were just like, whatever. I guess the kids
How are we going to
smoking.
stop 500 kids from smoking a cigar?
I'm assuming that had to have been a social media trend that picked up somewhere. And that everybody.
So they were,
doing
and the students were lining up,
smoking cigars. Yeah, girls, boys, the whole thing. Yeah,
that is something that never occurred. Yeah, that would not have happened when I was going to school. But cigars had not have been invented at that point.
But I was taking everything in, and it was funny because it was just being typical me, and I was like, wow, this is the last time I'll be in these stands up here probably. And then we were down on the field afterwards. I'm like, wow, this is the last time I'll probably stand on this field again.
Uh-huh.
We were walking by the school. I'm like, wow. It's probably the last time I'll be in this school building again. I was doing all this
Were you
stuff.
getting emotional?
No, but I was just like, well, I mean, a little bit. I wasn't getting like teared up or anything like that, but I was taking in all of the stimuli to go, okay, don't forget this. This is going to be, you're not, the next time you come here will be an anomaly for whatever reason. You won't be as a parent of a student.
Yeah.
You'll be a visitor for whatever reason it may be. But
Or an edgy loner.
I was just kind of taking that all in, that whole thing. And I wasn't really sad about it, but I mean, I was looking at a hopeful future. But I did look at the group of kids, Caleb's friends. I took a picture of all of them together. I'm like, this is special. This is cool. This is the moment in time frozen.
It's great.
That they'll look back and go, wow.
I think you get like more
We set that field on fire.
I think you get more emotional if you yourself had a decent college or high school experience. And then your children then had a decent high school experience because then you can kind of like project your own sort of, oh, man, like I missed that time.
It was funny leading up to that. So, my other kids went too, and I was talking to Carter as we were walking up to the stadium. I'm like, what do you remember about that day when you graduated? He's like, I just couldn't wait to get the hell out of here. He's like, I just hate these types of things. I was like, whoa, okay. I thought you would tell me about hanging out with your buddies for the last time or something. No, not at all. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think my high school experience, that the moments that I kind of take in and relive the most are like the smaller ones. Like me and my buddy Muffo just going to like Pizza Hut by ourselves and just cracking up. But you know what I mean? Like little things like that. It wasn't always the big things. It wasn't the prom and junior, senior
sucking
prom.
on a chili dog.
It wasn't. Sometimes it was sucking on a chili dog. I was a big fan of that.
Sucking on a chili dog. Sucking on a chili dog.
Ah, the memories.
No, but I remember leaving at lunch, go over to Danny's house, do bongs, and come back to the last half of the school. It was fun things.
We weren't allowed to leave campus, man.
In high school?
Man.
Yeah, we could.
Nah.
We could as juniors and seniors.
When I was in grade school as an altar boy, so we had a new church and an old church, but the morning masses were at the old church, which was 3 blocks away from the school. So you could leave campus to go be an altar boy for 9 o'clock masses, which was kind of cool. And every now and then.
Awesome. I'm getting to walk to be an altar boy.
Well, listen, I wasn't in school, so that was definitely a bonus.
By the way, I want to thank whoever Alyssa and Addison are, because we've been invited to their graduation party.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I got this in the mail. These 2 girls go to school. They're in West Deptford, and they're holding a little logo that says WD, so I'm assuming they went to West Deptford High School.
That sounds about right.
But their graduation party is July 26th, Steve, from 1 to 5 p.m. It just doesn't say what their last name is, how they know us, or where they're having this event.
It also says asterisk, please don't come.
But they've invited us, and they sent this nice little card. So thank you to Alyssa and Addison.
That's a hell of a nice card.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah. That's like wedding announcement level.
Made on Shutterfly.
Yeah.
So, real nice stock.
I know for a fact that Haverford High School is graduating today, so I want to give a big shout out and a congratulations to all the students at Haverford High. I knew that because Finn Murray, who I see at the gym from time to time, he told me that they're graduating today.
Who is this?
This kid, Finn Murray. So this kid who went to nursery school with my son, I see him at the gym. And I love it. Like, listen, if you're 16, 17 years old and an adult comes up and says hi to you and you know this person, they're not creepy, just engage them in conversation for 30,
leave me alone.
30 seconds,
Leave me alone.
Yeah. And Finn does that.
Yeah. I am a legend in Delco. Leave me alone.
Casey, are we having, just in the interest of time, Tom Johnston is at 9 o'clock?
He's at 9 o'clock, so we should probably
We've only
take
got
a
about
break
5 minutes or so.
Yeah, so let's not burn this topic that we were thinking about.
No. We'll talk about some other, we'll continue on this conversation. There was something else we were going to bring up, but I want to go to Carl is on the line. So we have a couple of Carls that we can throw at him.
Carl!
Yeah.
Good to see you!
Hey, Carl, what's up, man?
Carl! Yeah.
Carl!
Yeah, I had a buddy in high school, and as a senior prank, he joined the photo op for every single club at the high school. So
he got his picture in with every group?
Yeah, he would just sneak in and he joined the chess club, he joined the bike club, the art club. He was not African American, but he somehow got into the African American Society Club.
That is hilarious.
Okay, hold on, Carl. Did he actually join the clubs, or did he just show up on photo day and do it?
No, he just showed up. He just showed up for photos. Like, he would just sneak in.
That's wonderful.
That's thinking way ahead.
Yeah, that's planning.
You gotta do that through the year.
He got suspended. They had to retake all the photos.
Are you serious?
Oh.
Wow.
They had to retake all the photos.
Oh, dude.
I thought they should have left him in for the year.
Yes.
Absolutely. If you want to talk about commitment.
Yeah. Was this a Catholic high school by any chance?
It was a Catholic high school.
Oh, a little more persnickety about that.
Bit.
Wow. All right. Thanks, Carl. Appreciate it.
We had misprints. They had. You pick your nickname in school, and I picked Yahweh, which was God.
Yeah.
Which no one picked up on it, but it was not my nickname.
Is Yahweh
Hebrew for
it's Hebrew.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And so
There's a U2 song called Yahweh. Did you know that?
Oh no, I did not.
Yeah, it's on How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb.
So so there were tons of mistakes in my yearbooks. There were kids editing the yearbook.
Yep.
So my buddy John almost didn't graduate on graduation day, and I can't believe this actually happened. But as we're like processing in, and you're talking like we have almost 500 kids in our class,
right,
and we're at the pavilion where Nick's son just graduated, and there's thousands of people in the audience. And John notices his older brother in the crowd and kind of gives him like a little middle finger, not like a big old like above the head, but like kind of on the side like a little middle finger. Our head disciplinarian just so happened to be looking at John as he did that, and after like the graduation ceremony was over, he was like, you're not getting a diploma.
Oh, man. Okay, so I got that talking to too.
You did?
I did.
At graduation.
It was the last day of school. So all the cars had to come out of the same area when you leave the school.
Oh.
So and it was always jam-packed as people are waiting. The buses go out and then the cars go out. And so I pull up, I stopped right in the center. I get out of my car and I just go I double flip off the school. Right. I was just like, I am out of here, mother effers. I'm gone. I did not know that the assistant principal, Mr. Stauffer, was standing right there. Oops. And so I got in my car, I take off. I didn't even notice if he saw me or not.
Right.
And so we go through graduation and then we get done and he comes over, he found me and he comes over and he goes, I'm going to tell you what, because we had a senior party that night at the school. So you would stay all night at the school overnight. They had casino games and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
It was so we wouldn't go out and party. Right. Essentially.
They had more control.
And it ended up being a lot of fun. But he's like, you can stay tonight. And he goes, but you can't ever come back here again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like he gave me a talking to. I don't think I've ever told anybody that.
He figured that he could hold sway over what you do in perpetuity, that you could never return to the school.
To be honest, he was being nice by letting me stay.
Okay.
Yeah. He could have said,
I need you to go.
You're out of here, dude.
Have you ever been back?
Yeah, but
Okay.
I mean,
does he know?
I don't know.
Because I went one time and I stole stuff.
Yeah. What? Who, me?
Yeah.
Or you did
I
for
did.
me on my
I
behalf.
stole stuff when I was there.
But yeah, no, I was threatened to not take away my my diploma. Which they did hold that over our heads because they just hand you the folder.
Yes.
And then you get the diploma later on.
Yeah,
they want to make sure you don't show your ass at the graduation ceremony. So he could have easily...
That's for the teacher's lounge.
Yeah, he could have easily held the diploma for me. Not my proudest moment. I was doing it as less of an FU to the school to more of, I am out of here, mother effers. I'm done.
You were Judd Nelson.
That's what I was going to say.
That's what you were doing.
Was that your bender?
That was your defiant arm raise.
What about you, Dad? No.
Forget you.
Forget you, Dad. All right, well, anyway. So anyway, listen, we do have to take a break, but congratulations again. All seniors, everybody who's going through graduation.
Senior citizens, too.
And parents who have their kids that are graduating. So it's a special time of year. We are going to take a break. We're going to have a special interview when we get back. Tom Johnston of the Doobie Brothers on the show. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
It's her birthday in a couple of weeks, and her middle name is IKEA.
That's very cool, man. Yeah. My middle name is Walmart.
Oh my God, I'm Target.
Dude, actually, it is Michael, like Michael's.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And Paul, I'm not after a Sayin, Paul McCartney. I think Ron has a great suggestion. Preston.
All right, let me go to him. Hi, Ron. Good morning.
Hey, you guys rock.
Thanks, buddy. All right, what's Philadelphia sports movie to be made?
Before I get to that, there's a great story behind the Flyers and the Russians.
Yeah.
The Russians are in the dressing room, and I read it in the Complete Spectrum. It's a great book. Ed Snyder goes in there, and he goes, if you guys don't get the F back on the ice, you're not getting paid. And that's what made him go back on the ice.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a great book. It's called Complete Spectrum.
That's very cool.
Cool, man.
So there's a great story. It's almost like Rocky and Apollo Creed. Joe Frazier would be a great movie, but it would not be mostly about Joe Frazier. It's how Joe Frazier made Muhammad Ali so famous. Muhammad Ali would have been famous, but Harold Cosell documented that it was the rivalry between them that made Ali so famous, and it was Joe Frazier that had a lot to do with it.
You're right, and so you'd have the Ali story has been told a number of times. In fact, he played himself in his movie, so that's been told many times. To get an angle that would do Joe Frazier right, and his importance in all of that is the film that still needs to be made.
I agree.
Yeah, there's also a small one. If I could say one more, nobody's going to get this one. There was a guy that lived in Veterans Stadium that worked in the park.
We had him on.
Yeah, we talked to him. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a crazy movie.
That would be a good one.
Gambled, he did drugs, he drank.
The whole damn thing.
I like it.
There's a lot of stories there.
Thanks,
I
Ron.
don't know how many of them were
guys.
true. But like when that guy
Like when the Pope came by.
I was going to say, you know what, the likelihood of a movie getting made needs to be, it has to be someone who's nationally famous. So I was thinking that, Joe Frazier would make sense and a few others. But then again, I'm wrong because Invincible was not about, Vince Papale's very, very famous here and known around the league a little bit. But in the pantheon of things, he's not one of the all-time greats. So, and that worked because it's a story. It's a great story, even though it ended with him just winning a game. Let me go to Dave. Hey, Dave, good morning.
Gadzooks.
Hey, Gadzooks, buddy, what's up?
Julius Erving single-handedly changed basketball forever.
Yeah.
There should be a good Dr. J movie. I mean, a big screen, big budget. Julius Erving inspired Michael Jordan, for crying out loud.
Yeah, there have been documentaries, you're right, but there hasn't been that full-throated, life story movie. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, Dr. J is a great one.
He changed this town, and, the Sixers were horrible.
Here's a guy who left a successful medical career.
Thanks, Dave. As a doctor.
As a neurosurgeon.
I love Dr. J.
I know.
He's my favorite Sixer of all time, and I'm watching Winning Time on HBO right now. I just finished it up, but the Lakers in 1980 played the Sixers in the finals, and Magic Johnson was a rookie, and Dr. J was an established star. And the dynamic between those two guys, even though it's a fictionalized portrayal of the two, was really, really well done. And Dr. J, in a way, took Magic Johnson under his wing, but he also knew he was the star, and Magic was not yet a star. It's a really great series.
It sucks because I was too young to appreciate him and Charles Barkley, being on the court at the same time. I've seen them in Moses, and
Mo Cheeks.
Mm-hmm.
You guys ever met Dr. J?
I did on a plane in 1984, going to the Olympics. And Turquoise was on the plane as well, and I shook his hand.
Okay, did you see him stand up on the plane? Because that had
I
to
stood
been-
next to him.
Yeah,
really?
I stood next to him. I was a kid at the time, so I was 9, and got off the plane and shook his hand. My grandfather introduced me to him, and it's a memorable moment in my life because, Kathy, I know you've had the same experience, but your hand disappears in his, and it's this massive thing.
Seeing him on a plane would be like you being in a kid's, playhouse.
It's
completely hunched over and
Yes.
so on. I would love to meet him sometime.
Yeah.
He's just, he's a class act
for sure,
and just one of the all-time greats.
I stood next to him at a bar in Philly, and actually Matt Cord introduced me to him. And Nick, I shook his hand, and that was literally, I think that's the one thing I remember is how giant his hand was, and it's just like it's just like another world. Like I couldn't believe it.
All right, let me go to Lewis here. Hey, Lewis, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, the Philly sports movie yet to be made.
I think Concrete Charlie, so Chuck Penderek from the Eagles. I mean, he's 40 years before my time, but every thing I've read about him and watched about him, just
you're nodding. Casey's nodding.
Yeah, I mean, and also he's one of the most iconic pictures in Philadelphia sports history as well. him standing over, was it Len Dawson?
Frank Gifford.
Frank Gifford, yeah.
Frank Gifford. Yeah, just lays this guy out, and he's just standing over him like he's just, standing over a dead body.
Wow. Yeah, we're looking at that picture. Not growing up here, I'm not familiar with that, but that looks, yes.
By the way, look at how ripped up the field is.
Oh, yeah. Is that Franklin Field? It's got to be, right? And so, yeah, he won the championship in 1960, and then I don't know if he also won in 48, but yeah, for the long time, that was the only championship that the Eagles had, or the most recent, until they won the Super Bowl in 2017.
Wow.
I think maybe a story of the making of Buddies Watching You.
Yeah, that'd be great. The composing, the long late night songwriting sessions.
By the way, I didn't go through the 3 worst movies on Mike's list here. So the 3 worst Philly sports movies, and then we're going to have to take a break. Stealing Home with Mark Harmon. It was in the 1980s. Played Billy Wyatt, once a hot prospect for the Phillies who had fallen on hard times, has to figure out what to do with the ashes of his late friend / first love, played by Jodie Foster. Lots of shots at Chestnut Hill and a ridiculous scene set in Vet Stadium, he says. But other than that, for the local nostalgia, Stealing Home isn't worth a rewatch. It's, in fact, it's trite. He said Roger Ebert wrote that he, quote, left the screening wondering if any movie could possibly be that bad.
It was on the heels of like Bull Durham and The Natural and other great baseball movies, and it just did not live up.
Okay. How about a movie called Pride?
Oh, yeah.
This movie aspires to be Remember the Titans for swimming and fails for being too formulaic. Amid racism in the 1970s, Philadelphia Rec Center coach refurbishes an old pool, teaches several black kids to swim, and leads them into a big meet. The acting is overwrought, the characters are one-dimensional, and the script lacks any complexity or nuance. Never saw it, don't know.
No, not familiar.
And then the last one he mentioned, worst movie in Philadelphia, Rocky V.
I think
that's where we get Rantlers and the whole up on the roof thing. That's from Rocky V.
It really is. Because, listen, because you compare it to the genius of Rocky and Rocky Balboa and all the stuff we love about Stallone, that attempt, that as Nick pointed out, that first swipe at a Rocky Balboa type story was so bad.
We need to go through that movie. I'll bet you there's some other gems we could
Oh, my
find.
God, yeah.
We have only scratched the surface, and that's the reindeer on the roof thing. The Rantlers.
Can we play the whole Rantlers clip?
Do we have that whole thing? He's going to have to...
Sorry.
No, we got it.
Dig that up. But
we forgot about Mighty Max.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you were in Mighty Max, right?
Yeah. For
Star.
What was that the flight attendant? I think it was.
You were the hooker.
You were the hooker.
So many roles.
I know, but I've been a Nick. I've had so many roles. You think I can remember all of them? God.
Was that a basketball movie?
Yeah. Immaculata College.
Yes.
Okay.
The women.
I can't believe we just come up on the roof. He just landed there and crashed. And what do you think it is?
Do I hear reindeer on my roof?
Rantlers, unbelievable. It's like $1 billion. Whoa! Come on, look who's here. You know this guy. He's gonna be next Christmas before he gets down. Hey, they put it together for Santa. Hey! Merry Xmas, yo. Hey, I don't think you got it right, Santa. No. It's ho, ho, ho.
I need you to stop talking.
I've said this many times.
Shut up, man. You're gonna try to Santa Claus.
So
that was the best take.
Yeah.
Yep. There were other takes that weren't as good.
Let's watch it on playback. Perfect.
That's the one they went with. All right. Well, anyhow, interesting. But this movie, Hustle, looks pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I don't know any feedback. We do have that screening tonight. We'll do a couple more movie passes in a little while to give away. Our guest on the line, ready to go. We have been very excited to talk to this gentleman who's been huge fans for, well, pretty much my entire life.
So likewise.
I'm going to play a couple of clips before we go to him because the band, the Doobie Brothers, has a new album out. This is amazing. These guys have been together. This is the first new album to feature not only Tom Johnston, who we're going to talk to, Patrick Simmons, John McPhee, and Michael McDonald in over 40 years.
Yeah.
So, since they've been having new music together. And so this is, I'm going to play a little bit of a new song. It's called Learn to Let It Go.
When you lose that love, this world may keep on turning, but it's just gonna keep on hurting till you learn to let go, baby. Cool, show
There's some soul, there's some R&B, there's gospel, there's all this kind of flavor in the tracks that I've heard from this new album.
Straight up rock.
But I can't bring them on without playing something from the older days, just because the harmonies in this band are some of the greatest I've ever heard. And just a reminder, here we go. This is when I sing really loud in the car, right here. Just amazing, right? Ladies and gentlemen, we are so happy to welcome to the show this morning, Mr. Tom Johnston. Yeah. Tom, good morning to you.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
We're doing great, man. Listen, as you can tell, we're kind of fanboying out on you quite a bit. We're very excited that you guys have new music together. And was I correct in that statement at the top that with Pat and you and Michael, that this is the first time, and John McPhee as well, that you guys have played together in 40 years or recorded a new album?
First time we've done an album in... I guess since '82, I want to say.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, you haven't missed...
it's not the first album we've done. We've done a few albums.
Yeah,
of course, yes. Yeah.
Well, you haven't missed a beat or a step at all. And what I'm amazed at, and I've watched a few interviews, and you guys were all together for one you did with CBS. The one thing that cuts through, Tom, and it's the reason why I think you guys have always been so good at what you do, is there seems to have never been a diminishing of your joy for creating music and having the audience enjoy it as well. Would you say that's true?
I got to say the crowds are a huge The crowds, the general populace that likes this band is a huge part of our success, because without them, we wouldn't be anywhere, number one. Number two, we tour a lot. So when we're on the road and people show up, expressing what you just described, which is, happiness, joy, dancing, singing, having a great time. That's basically, you can't ask for a better job than that.
Well, I'm going to read a review from Classic Rock Magazine talking about the new album. It says, it is an album as full of joy as it is of craft. 16 albums in, and they're still not letting themselves down. And so you as a songwriter, and you... as a prolific songwriter and musician as you are, have you ever had those, I guess the yips would be the equivalent in sports, where you were wondering about your own capability, or have you always been confident throughout those years?
I don't know if I ever got the yips. But I have, we've done albums where I'm going, oh man, that's not a very good song. What do you think? Or at home, when you're writing at home, for instance, and you're starting something, if you're writing on your own. There are times when you're just not going to get there, and you just kind of have to accept that. Some songs write themselves. I'm sure you've probably heard that a lot. And those are the magic ones. Those are the ones, like things you're playing and other things. It's just, they take care of themselves. And there's the ones where you labor and labor and labor. And the more you labor, the worse the song gets. So that's always the best idea.
Tom, you know what? We spoke to a lot of musicians over the years, and I found that most of them have a story of they started writing this song, and it's this little kind of throwaway thing, and it's just like, I don't know about this. But one of the other members goes, no, wait, man, hang on. I hear something there. And then it turns out to be either a beloved track or actually a bona fide huge hit, but it just needed someone, another set of ears to come in and say, wait a minute, you're onto something, don't give up on this. I'm sure that's probably happened to you or more of you guys in the band throughout the years.
Yeah, I'd say that's an accurate statement. The song you were just playing, Long Train Running, which is a while ago, but we had been playing that for 2 years before we recorded it. Playing it live. We weren't trying to record it. And then Teddy heard us play it live, Teddy Templeman. And he's the one that suggested that we cut it. And I was going, really? And he said, yeah. He said, you just got to write some lyrics for it, because I was making up different ones every night we played it. So that's one of those songs you're talking about.
Wow.
It's interesting because I feel I owe you something through the years of joy. Your music has been associated with moments in my life. It's just such a wonderful gift to be able to give to people that you have. But I'm curious about the process and how you're able to finally settle on, okay, this is it. And you described something in an interview called demo lock, which is this is it, and this is what it's going to be, and then having to learn how to let other people say, well, maybe we can do more.
Yeah, you do have to do that. As a writer, in the old days, I used to come in with a guitar, a set of chords, and I played on the guitar. Like, oh, yeah, we could do this, do that. And a lot of guys would come up with their own parts. That developed over the years, so you're working with a digital audio workstation, and you can pretty much create every instrument you want to hear on the track by yourself. So you bring that in, and demo log basically describes something where you've got a song where you think it just can't get any better, which doesn't happen that often, but it happens more than you would think. And then you bring it in and go, oh, what if you did this? And you're going, wait a minute, this is what I was thinking. And you do have to learn to adapt. And a lot of the times when you do that, you find out, wow, it got a lot better because I let that happen, or I wanted it to happen.
So hundreds of songs written, and yet it's my understanding that the only song that you thought right from the completion, when you had it done, that would be a hit was Listen to the Music. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, that is correct. That's the only one I've ever called.
And when you realize that, do you start going to everybody? Do you say, this is it, this is the one? And do they want to hear that?
I don't think I presented it that way. I did call Ted up at like 2:30 in the morning or something, telling him that, but I didn't tell the band that. I just brought it in as a song.
Okay.
And we cut it the way I'd written it, and it came out really great, and it was popular. So it was a happy thing all the way around. That was the band's first single.
Tom, how do you guys work as a collaboration now on this current album, Walk This Road, which, by the way, is available now? As far as presenting ideas to the group, fleshing them out, working on them, is there a jam session? How does it work nowadays?
This album and the one that preceded it, actually, both, were done with John Shanks, and it's a totally different way of doing things. He co-wrote every song with us. We would bring it in and sit down. We didn't even have one sometimes. You come in and just create the song right there in his, we'll call it studio. You would write it upstairs. You'd send what you had downstairs to the studio itself. Then you'd start tracking on it. And that's a totally different way of writing. We did the last album like this as well. And it's interesting. It's fast. But the songs came out really well. So I think everybody's pretty pleased with it.
No, it's great. And it is, if you're, I think the best way to say it is if you're a Doobie Brothers fan, then you're going to love this album because it's capturing at least everything, all the boxes are checked and then some. And I wanted to ask you, because you have people like Mavis Staples and Mick Fleetwood listed in the credits as well. And when you set out on an album, obviously you guys are all incredibly accomplished musicians, but do you sort of have a shopping list of people that you'd like to bring on as well?
I think in the case of Mavis Staples, that didn't occur until the song was tracked and we knew what was going on with it. I think Michael brought that up. He thought it would be a great idea to have Mavis sing on it, and we all agreed. So the management reached out and got in touch with her, and she was gracious enough to say, yeah, I'll do it. And I think that came out really well. That was a great track and a great idea. As far as Mick Fleetwood, Pat lives in Maui, so Mick does too. I believe he's over there a lot anyways. And they got him to come in because of the track Lahaina, which was about the town which burned down over there.
Right.
But to our dismay, everybody's really fond of that place. And so that's basically what that was about. He brought him in to play drums on it, and he was all about it, so that's a good thing.
Nice. So you guys are going to be in town. The tour is happening. You'll be at Freedom Mortgage Pavilion on August 13th, and Coral Reefer Band is going to be playing on that bill as well.
That's perfect.
Which is a wonderful synergy of vibe. You guys and your vocals, I mentioned at the top, Tom, that I came to a realization a few years ago because you have bands that are hallowed for their vocals, and you hear a lot of the same names being used, and they're great and deserving names, which are like the Eagles and the Beatles, and they're known for having these wonderful harmonies. I have always put you guys right up there with them in that the voices that blend in the Doobie Brothers just bring this wonderful vibe. Was that pretty apparent early on that you guys were going to be a vocal-based band? I mean, you not only have multiple people who can sing lead, but you have a variety of pitches that blend well together. Was it pretty obvious straight on you guys had something special?
I think harmonies were always in the picture because a lot of the bands that influenced us at that time, I mean, we came from a lot of different places before we got together, but we were pretty high on the idea of having harmonies. A lot of groups were doing that. Crosby, Stills, and Nash had just, well, they were actually in the midst of it when we got together. And trying to think of some others. Just a slew of people that, had really great vocal harmonies. And we were also big fans of Moby Grape, which is dating myself by saying this, but that's the way it goes. So we just decided to bring that into whatever songwriting we did. And everything from that point just happened. I mean, yeah, we would come up with harmonies, but a lot of that stuff just happened kind of, I hate to say this, but organically.
Well, doing research on you for this interview and for the band as well, and obviously you had that period of time where you had severe ulcer issues and medical conditions that had you having to leave the band for a while and then obviously reincorporate, and the band has never sounded better. So Walk This Road seems to have an overarching context for you individually as well as the album itself. Do you carry a little bit more into this, do you believe, because of what you've been through?
I don't really know if that has any effect on it at all, to be honest. We've been on the road, constantly for like decades. And yeah, I took a little break and then I had to, but we started up again. I went out on the next year. I went on the tour in '76 with everybody, and with Memphis Horns were touring with us. And then we just kept doing it until I kind of left the band for a while and went off and did a couple of solo albums, and then we got back together essentially in '87, and we've been going since. So I don't really know if that had a great effect on it other than to change the sound of the band for a while.
Right.
Tom, I wanted to ask you about your early days in the band because you guys got a reputation for being a biker bar band in the earlier days. And I've always thought the things you guys must have seen in those days, were there... I'm not going to ask you how many fights you saw, but did any of those spill onto the stage while you were actually performing?
I don't recall that happening on the stage. I did see a few, sure, up at the Chateau. The Hells Angels were there, and it was an interesting combination of hippies, Hells Angels, college students, musicians. It was a very loose atmosphere.
Wow.
A lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
Had a great time.
Yeah.
I have to ask you because Michael McDonald has become associated with the term yacht rock, and overall, maybe there's I don't ever really hear the Doobie Brothers incorporated into yacht rock, but Michael has presence there. How do you take that term, that classification? Donald Fagen and of Steely Dan, clearly not a fan of it. Are you okay if you end up being considered yacht rock now and then?
I kind of don't really care. It's just something for somebody to make money off of or whatever. I don't know, man. They've got some really high-class people they've lumped into there who are really good musicians.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I think it's about style. It's more like soft rock, I guess, or, if anything has a little jazz influence.
Yeah.
But they've got people in there like Toto who don't fit that caliber. So it's really kind of a loose title.
Yeah. I mean, you guys were writing music of the time.
It doesn't affect the band. I can tell
right,
you that.
right. Yeah, but you guys were writing, at the time, you were writing music of the time. And then, I'm a little bit younger than these guys, so I found it in high school in the early to mid 90s. And what I find interesting is my son, who just graduated high school, him and his friends have now discovered this kind of on their own. Maybe they was on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, but here you are writing music 40 years ago that today's youth is also still consuming and loving. How does that make you feel?
I think that's fabulous. The idea that we wrote music that has stood the test of time is just, I don't think you plan that. I don't think you can plan that. I think it just happens. And if you've got something that resonates with listeners and with crowds, and it brings them up, I think that's the biggest thing of all. They associate it with a good time in their life or whatever they're doing at the time now. And I don't know, you couldn't ask for a better ending to a song, or not ending, but you couldn't ask for a better life for a song than something like that.
Speaking of, can I ask you a quick question? Because this might be one of my favorite guitar riffs to ever start a song. Who wrote this?
I did.
You wrote that.
Well, thank you for that, man. I love it.
Listen, this song, this stuff is so good, and it just gets embedded in our DNA, and we sometimes you can fumble all over yourselves, again, in adoration of what you provide, again, it's a soundtrack to people's lives, and an interview after interview with you and with the rest of the band, that is not lost on you guys, and I think that's collectively why we love the Doobie Brothers so much.
Well, we're just grateful, extremely so. We're happy to be doing what we're doing, and that lick you just played still resonates today, and I got to say, it came from a joyful place at the time, so it still is, and that really helps.
Nice. And congratulations on the way, because this week on the 12th, you guys are going to be, and by that I mean you and Pat and Michael are going to be inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in the performing songwriters category, which I think is, I think that's a top notch in the song. Now, listen, there are people that write tons of great hit songs, and they're wonderful, and they have an immense talent. The people who can actually write and perform those, I find a more depth in their talent. And this has got to be something that I assume, because you seem like a really humble guy, that you never really saw in your future, but now here it is. And how does that make you feel?
That's a very accurate statement. I never even thought about it. I am extremely grateful to be in this position. We all are. Myself, Pat, and Michael, very much so. It just popped up, I guess you could say, a year ago that we might be not inducted, but we were getting looked at. And then the induction came, and we're all kind of blown away. Going, wow. Because you think about all the people you grew up listening to and the people that affected your style of music, and they're all in there. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I think though you may not feel you're owed this, I think you have every right to lord it over the people who can only write songs when you get to...
That would be a real popular item in the conversation.
Yeah. Well, listen, Tom, we're huge fans. Thank you for the years of music and entertainment, and that entertainment continues because you guys are going to be performing in our area, and this will be at Freedom Mortgage Pavilion on August 13th. Should be an awesome summertime show for the people of Philadelphia and surrounding area to check out. And, of course, I want to remind everyone that the new album, Walk This Road, is still available. These guys are still banging it out and bringing it as strong as they ever have. So thanks, Tom, and congratulations, and we appreciate your time this morning.
Thanks, you guys. We're looking forward to it.
Excellent.
You guys have a great day.
You too. We'll see you. All right. Tom Johnston. No, I wanted it from the beginning. That's what I was trying to tell you. That's all right. Anyway, I absolutely love this band, man.
Yeah, and you have different stages. There was that Michael McDonald aspect to it, which is great. And the delineation was always, Tom Johnston was more of the rock edge, but they synthesized so well together. And I agree with you, Preston. If you're talking about soaring harmonies, I mean, every one of the band members that you reeled off all was responsible for writing hits, and it's amazing.
Yeah, by the way, I had a couple of people ask me to ask him which doobie you be. I was not going to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
From What's Happening.
Yeah.
I was going to ask him, and we wanted to make sure we didn't get too off of the beaten path, but I was going to ask him if he remembers when in Romancing the Stone, Michael Douglas's character, who had been off in like the jungle for years,
right.
They found like an old plane wreckage, and he found an old Rolling Stone, and he's opening it, he's reading, he's like, "Oh man, the Doobie Brothers broke up." And she's like, "How long have you been down here?" And so they did break up for a little while.
Yeah.
They hung it up, and then a few years later they got back together. When they first came back, they had a song called "The Doctor."
Love it.
And I'm like, oh man, the Doobies are trying to do this again. And I listen to the song, I'm like, damn, they are still good.
Yeah.
And that was back in the 90s, maybe early 90s.
I don't think I knew what bootlegging or illegally recording was until What's Happening. So just on a legal perspective, that episode, actually two-part episode, made a serious impact on me.
Wow. Yeah, so it was pretty awesome to talk to him. All right, what are we doing now? We got another guest coming up, right?
That would be in the next break, though.
In the next
Actually, just announced, Preston, our guest who's coming up, is that he is joining the Doobie Brothers.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. How great is that?
It's amazing.
I've never seen them. I need to go to this show.
I saw them a few years ago, and it was awesome. And it was without Michael McDonald. I saw them in Camden. I forget who else was on the bill. There was a few different acts. Maybe they opened for Journey. And I think it was Hall & Oates, Doobie Brothers, and Journey.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Journey I didn't need to see again, but I would definitely go see the Doobie Brothers again. They like, Tom Johnston brought it, and I want to see them with Michael McDonald in the lineup.
Yeah. I read his book, and then I was telling Steve earlier, or maybe I was telling you guys on air. After that, I read that, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to listen to every single Doobie Brothers album. And they've had 16 albums.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I went through and every day I would listen to a new record. And just because there were so many deep cuts, I know all the hits.
Were you like Howard Hughes with jars full of piss?
I just didn't move.
Yeah.
No, but it was on the way into work each morning. I'd pop the album on and I could listen to it. And there were some songs I didn't know about that I was like, oh, this is a great tune. Oh, that's a great tune. Never heard of that one before. And I sent Casey one that's become my favorite, which is Another Park, Another Sunday.
Yeah, I'd never heard that before. I listened to it this morning.
And aren't the harmonies just amazing?
I'm like, yeah, this is the Doobie Brothers right here.
Yep, absolutely.
You know what I used to do, and I'm going to do it again this summer, is when I drive down the shore,
take your pants off.
Take my pants off. No, but listen to an album that I haven't listened to before. Like I listened to the entire Grateful Dead catalog one year, not live music, but all studio stuff. I did it with Bruce Springsteen.
So for me, if I'm driving, it has to be curated. Like I'm going to pull out this album.
Okay.
So you're very adventurous.
Yeah.
Because I consider driving time a revered listening time.
Yeah.
There are a few bands like the Doobie Brothers, like Steely Dan, where I learned the Eagles. I learned about them through their greatest hits catalog.
Yeah.
Which is a fine way to learn about a band.
Right.
But I didn't take the time to go back and listen to the original records. And so when I listened to Steely Dan growing up, it was a decade of Steely Dan. When I listened to the Eagles, it was Eagles Greatest Hits Part 2. Doobie Brothers, same thing. And so I'd like to go back and listen to the individual records because I think it makes you appreciate the songs a little bit differently.
Is that what your son's doing, Casey? Are they going through the greatest hits, or are they going through the albums?
No, probably like greatest hits.
Okay.
I think
Still,
they're actually
that's
going through
something.
song by song, right? And it isn't until they find a few songs that they'll actually then go to the album.
Right.
Yeah.
So a good indicator of a band that you should go back and listen to all of their music is a band that has a greatest hits collection.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's telling you that there's enough material that you can definitely spend some time on.
They
it.
seldom released a greatest hit album.
So they had, like, the Red Hot Chili Peppers had this release. It was called What Hits, and it was their quote-unquote greatest hits album. And essentially, they're saying we haven't had any hits, but here's some of our songs that are most well-known. And that kind of opened up the door to me to go back and listen to Uplift Mobile Party Plan and all these early albums. And I'm like, oh, my God, this band's got depth, you know?
Yeah,
it's a good indicator when you come across a greatest hits.
Has there been like a greatest hits album? Like a Foo Fighters don't have a greatest hits, right?
They actually
Pearl
had
Jam.
Pearl Jam put one out a few years ago. They recreated the cover of 10 on the inside, and they did a modern version of it. But I don't need that because I have all of the records, and I listen to all the records beginning to end. I don't know about the Foos, though.
Nick said he didn't need this. We figured we'd do it anyway, but we love Nick.
Oh, I still bought it. Don't get me wrong.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, I'm going to support the band.
Actually, the first
found it out.
The first greatest hits collection I ever listened to, and there were only 2 songs on it. It was by Dolly Parton. It was called Two of Her Biggest Hits. Come on. Come on. I never give
That's
a joke.
dad joke.
With a punchline ever.
That was a dirty dad joke.
It was, wasn't it?
You want to tease what we're doing on Friday? Speaking of dad jokes?
What are we doing on Friday?
We're going to have a dad joke off.
Oh!
With Casey and Fit Dad CEO, who, by the way, is dropping some dad jokes in the YouTube chat this morning.
Oh, is he now?
Yeah.
Oh.
So he's throwing the gauntlet, Case.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a bank of dad jokes.
Just get a book. It's
Get your ass to work.
He's not writing them. He's just he's regaling us in his own dad way, which is terrific.
I'm a lot more selective when it comes to my dad jokes. So I might see one and I go, okay, let's see if I can drop that on the show at some point. And then I won't have another one for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
You know? So it's not like I have a whole bank of them right now.
All right.
I already used the one that I thought was
Steal from the best, right?
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Yeah. I used the zoo one last week.
The zoo one?
Yeah, it was.
What was it?
Well, it was the zoo that only had one animal. It was a dog. It was a Shih Tzu.
Oh, yeah. Shih Tzu.
I like that one.
That was pretty good one. All right, well, listen, I think we're going to take a break.
All right.
I think that's what we're going to do because we do have a guest we're going to chat with real brief, and we do have the bizarre file coming up. And if there's anything else we need to cover, we will do it then, too. You know what? Let's give away another. I don't know how many more of these. I haven't been checking these boxes, Casey. I think I gave away 2 more, but I think I've got a few more Hershey Park 4-packs to give away.
This is an amazing thing. We didn't know if this would ever return.
Yep.
And it is back.
So we're headed to the sweetest place on earth, Hershey, Pennsylvania, in Hershey Park, and we'll be broadcasting live on Thursday, the 26th. We'll take caller number 9 at 610-660-9333. We'll give you a 4-pack of tickets. You'll get to get in the park early. You'll get to access some of the rides before anybody else does. Free parking, and you'll hang out with us as we do the live broadcast. So we'll come back in just a moment. We'll get to the B-file and another quick guest. So stay with us. We'll be right back. What I need to give away now as we take a break are some passes to our sorority party at Parks Casino next Wednesday. Ladies, we want to welcome you to the fold of Zeta Eta Pi. We have not had one of these in years now.
Years.
And it is time to get you on board for this event. And our activity this time around, we're going to square dance. Just like we did in high school or junior high. You know what? I actually did do it in high school, too.
I'll guarantee you a lot of the people that'll attend have never done it. That's fine. It's a stupid, fun activity.
Yes, and it's next Wednesday, so it's rapidly approaching. Bill, I'm going to take 10 callers right now. 215-263-WMMR is the number. And you need to be ladies, you need to be female and able to join us, 21 and over only at Parks next Wednesday. And we'll set you up with a free drink, and we got a free happy hour buffet. You can bring a friend, ladies only, invitation only event, 215-263-WMMR. Call only if you can go. We're going to be back in just a moment. B-File up next. Stay with us. Clearview Regional High School, Mullick Hill, New Jersey. You're up next for Coolest Teacher, you, and then we choose one more tomorrow, and then we're done. So make sure that you do vote. Take advantage of this. It's a way to let your teachers know that you care about them and you thank them for what they've done for you. So just text word teacher to 39333. And if you go to Clearview, make sure you let the faculty know that we are doing this. One of the more frustrating things that can happen to you as an individual is in a moment when you're trying to tell someone about something and there's a word that you just can't remember. And you start flipping through the card catalog in your mind.
The inability to articulate.
You just can't find it. You know what you're talking about. You know what you want to express, but that actual word doesn't come to you. So, on occasion, you will find a suitable replacement that you feel will get the job
You
done.
rig something together.
Yep.
In your mind that makes sense to you.
And sometimes it sounds ridiculous. So, I found a list that is titled Times That People Failed to Remember What a Simple Thing is Called, so they came up with the most hilarious new name. And feel free to share examples, because sometimes once you say these things and they get out there, it becomes, like what your friends will bust your balls over or something
totally.
like that. So 215-263-WMMR. So I have examples of these. I can't think of anyone's personally, but maybe I will if we go through this list. But people responded, and one of them said, "My boyfriend's mother once referred to a peacock as a disco chicken."
Yes.
Oh my
She couldn't
God.
think of the name.
Why does that sound familiar?
Disco chicken.
Disco chicken.
I don't know, but she felt that maybe the
plumage.
elaborate flowers,
Yeah.
the plumage, flowers. See, there you go. I did it.
Bird
Feathers.
flowers.
Bird flowers.
The fluffy
the
bird
things,
flowers.
the bird flowers
that
on
grow
the
out of
things. That's it.
bird.
That's exactly it.
It's a bird flower.
Yeah.
You just,
I just
you
created
said you
one.
didn't have one, and you just
Bird flower.
created
Did
a
it.
bird flower.
My dad one time was trying to say catapult, except that he said boomerang. And from there on out, every time we ever had to refer it, again, catapult's one of those words that doesn't come up nearly often enough. So it's now known in my household as a boomerang.
All right. And this isn't quite the same conversation we had a little while back about your dad. Casey, what did he say?
He said pita meat.
Right, pita meat. That's mispronouncing something. So this is just coming up with a completely different name.
Right.
So this respondent said, couldn't remember groomsmen, and I went with dudes maids instead. I like dudes maids.
I like dudes
That
maids a
works.
lot, yeah.
You could use that, and someone would pick up what you were saying.
Yeah, they would know,
yeah.
right? All right, now this one I'm not so sure. So this person said, I forgot the word for exterminator. So I used ant exorcist instead.
That's not even right. I feel like an ant.
You're cleansing their souls.
Yeah.
And eradicating.
You're trying to get them out of here.
Okay.
So you're exercising them out. And another one says, my friend couldn't remember the word cow. For some reason, she Googled moo beast to remember the word cow. Moo beast.
What kind of lapse?
Oh my God.
What kind of lapse would make you forget cow?
Some kind of big brain fart. I mean, something has blocked you and you just can't recall.
Though you could remember moo, the sound they make.
Yeah. This one says, my ex called an animal shelter a cat refugee camp.
Oh, there's some people who could confuse refuge with refugee.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Another one says, to this day, most of my family refers to a strainer or colander as a noodle stay water go, because
noodle stay and the water goes.
Yeah, my brother called it that once when he couldn't find it and needed to ask where it was. Where's the noodle stay water go thing? So that's what they refer to it. Oh my God,
I love that.
that is great. This one says, back in the 90s, I was 14. I was begging my mom to let me go to a Guns N' Roses concert. And I kept nagging until she got frustrated but couldn't remember the name of the band. And she said, I'm not letting you go to any damn Death and Flowers concert. Guns N' Roses.
Death and flowers. It's like a bird flower.
And flowers. Here's a text. It says, I had a friend ask for spicy yellow mayo on his hot dog once. He meant mustard. Spicy yellow mayo. Do you have any of that spicy yellow mayo? This one says, a Polish exchange student was thirsty after a night out and didn't know what to say, so he pointed to his mouth and said, Sahara.
Okay.
He had a dry mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sahara. Let's see. How about...
It's amazing how the mind works that you would forget.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, wow, you'd have to be gone.
This says, a couple weeks ago, I was getting a pack of darts. I don't know why. Needed some change.
Pick up some darts on the way home.
You're probably having like a balloon race.
Maybe they're having a balloon contest.
Are darts cigarettes?
I don't know. Needed some change for the parking meter. As the girl is getting my change out, I was panicked what it was called. My mind went blank. All I could get out of my mouth was, can I have my change in metal money? Instead of coins. You couldn't come up with the name
money.
Coins. Do you have metal money?
Metal money.
That's great.
Let's see. I will go next to this one. Somebody said, instead of saying reindeer once, I said Christmas llama. Another one says, my boyfriend thought I was clever when I asked what the right word for an angry... Wait. My girlfriend or my boyfriend thought I was clever when I asked what the right word for an angry parade was. It's a protest.
Oh, God, yeah.
And they
angry
couldn't
parade.
an angry parade of people. And, let me go to Brian. Hey, Brian, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Good. Do you want to share something with us?
Yeah. So back in college, they were doing, I don't know, yard work or something on our apartment complex, and they had like tractors and like backhoe type things all around. And our one friend referred to it as like, oh, what's up with all the cranes out here?
Well, you know, there's some people with heavy machinery
don't know the names.
That don't know. Well, that's incorrect. A backhoe's a backhoe. Yeah. But
I call everything a backhoe. Like,
Do
I
you?
mean, I would know the difference between a backhoe and a crane, but like, I
Like
don't
a bulldozer, you
I'm-
call it a backhoe?
I'm like, oh, what are all those backhoes doing over
think of the
there? Yeah,
movement
like,
of the. It's scooping.
I know, but like, I don't know what the other things are, so I just call them all backhoes.
But a crane, yeah.
I would know a crane.
I would give that person a pass on that.
This one says, I can't remember who said it, but ever since I heard a person call a cupcake a party muffin, they were permanently renamed in my mind.
Love that.
I like that too. Once I had to listen to my mother tell a 10-minute story about all the honkers she saw in the park. She meant geese.
Okay.
Right. Not knockers.
So she would call them honkers. Here's one that said they were in Target, and I forgot the word for insecticide or even bug spray, and so I asked an attendant for a can of bug murder.
Oh, my God.
Mom, it says, my mom once referred to Guitar Hero as carpet banjo.
All right.
I like that one. Another one says, couldn't remember the word athlete, so I went with sportican.
Couldn't remember athlete.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, listen, it's a common word that will escape you,
Right.
and it happens. In fact, this one said, I forgot the word for pants, and so I called them long-sleeved shorts.
Oh, yeah.
When this
That's what we did growing up. They were long sleeve shorts.
Really?
Yeah, yes. Exact
Okay.
same. Yeah.
It's usually you're doing something like, you know, and you're trying. Yeah.
And
that's
by the way,
that's where these words are born.
I've often posited that when you can't think of a word, that is contagious. That can be like, if I can't think of a word
You
and
can cause other people to forget the word.
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
know why that is.
Yep.
And there is there a word that anytime you try to say it, you forget what it is?
Well, you know what?
A word that eludes you because I have one and I'm trying to think of what that actual word is.
What is it?
So, okay, because I would often say this because, you know, when I would like drink, I would get out of control.
Right.
And I have my best friend never did this. So he always had the ability to control it. And there's this word. And every single time I talk to him.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Moderation!
Moderation.
Oh, you can
moderation.
You can never think of the word
Can't
moderation?
think of the word moderation.
Okay.
Every single time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everything in moderation.
Everything
It's one of those things you just have a hard time recalling.
Right.
For whatever reason. Okay.
You know what happens? People will make me forget actors or things that they're trying to remember. If they try to remember a name, who is that person? Now, if they didn't seem to be forgetting it, I would probably remember it much quicker. But there is a level of contagiousness involved with that.
There was 3 different conversations that Chuck and I were having, and he couldn't remember the word hipster. And all 3 conversations, we sat there for like a half an hour.
Right.
Could not remember. And even after the first one, we knew that it was hipster, but we couldn't remember the term hipster. And I actually just listened to I love Gary Goldman, and he had an album come out in 2016. And he's got a whole bit about synonyms because he had a friend who was telling him about a documentary about Hitler. And the word that she was searching for was atrocities. But she didn't come up with atrocities. She called them shenanigans.
Okay.
Hitler's shenanigans.
Here's a text that says, my son's friend didn't know the word for tank top, so he called them hot shirts.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Another one says, my son calls the aquarium a fish zoo.
Okay.
But you know, there's a difference between a little kid name and you just not being able to remember it, and you all of a sudden give it another name. I'm going to go to Joe. Hi, Joe. You're on the air. Good morning.
Hey, Gadzooks.
Hey, Gadzooks, buddy. What's up?
So years ago, when my oldest daughter, when she was smaller, we were driving past the farm, and I was like, "Look, it's and then I said, "It's a moo-moo," and she goes, "You mean cow?"
The kid knew right away.
What's even funnier is the fact that later, we've done it for so many years that my younger daughter goes into school. And they said, "What's this?" And they picture of a cow, and she goes, "It's a moo-moo."
Yep.
And they're like, "It's a cow." She goes, "No, it's a moo-moo."
It becomes
moo-moo. She never realized cow, like it was actually named cow.
It becomes part of the modified vocabulary. We would. I remember us calling them moo-moos for the longest time. Yeah.
Let me go next to, where is this? Oh, yeah, it's Mike we're going to go to. Hey, Mike, good morning.
Oh, my balls.
Oh, my balls.
What's up, Mike?
Hey, first thing, Preston, congratulations on 50,000.
Hey, how about it?
Way to go.
Oh, my balls. And I was one of those 50,000.
You're in for some real entertainment, my man. Thank you for following. What's up?
All right, so my son, he's 16. When he went to daycare, she got paid every Friday. Some days we'd give her a check, some days we'd give her cash. And one day
on 93.3 WMMR.
All right, thank you very much, Marissa. Before we get to the B-File, a couple of things I want to mention. We have a new big friggin' deal this week, and you can get 80 Steel Pier ride tickets for just $42.50. That's half of the price.
That's pretty amazing.
That's fantastic. So normally $85 to get 80 Steel Pier ride tickets. And Steel Pier, in case you did not know, it's Atlantic City's boardwalk. It's their really awesome amusement park pier, the big Ferris wheel, all kinds of stuff there. The diving horse used to be at the Steel Pier back in the day. And you know what I need to do is go back and see if there's any video.
There is.
On YouTube of the diving horse. Is there?
Yeah.
And
it's pretty amazing to see that, and you always wondered how they were able to pull that off. But
apparently the horse liked doing it from what I read.
They picked one that was sort of depressed and suicidal, and so
and they just had to jump.
No. I mean, to convince a horse at that height to jump is pretty amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking at video footage and still pictures from back in the black and white photos, which I assume this would have been the 1950s, 40s, and 50s.
Everyone loves watching the horse dive.
Yes. Watch the horse dive.
After a cataclysmic turnout for the elephant jump, the horse was the next best way to go.
Wow, we're looking at pictures. That's way the hell up there.
The horse's body is pointed directly down.
Damn.
It's diving. I mean, it's not jumping.
Yeah.
No.
And Casey, who used to open for the diving horse?
That was Thornton Mellon, man.
Thornton Mellon, yeah. Did the most amazing dive I've ever seen.
Triple Lindy almost killed him, man.
Yeah, that's right. So anyhow, this is while supplies last. You can go to WMMR.com/deals and take advantage of the huge summer savings for Steel Pier, the Atlantic City Boardwalk's premier amusement destination.
Somewhere, somebody was sitting in the back of the. I have an idea. How about a diving horse? What?
Why they'll come from
miles around just to see the equestrian show involving a diving horse. Trust me. And later on, I'll have a hamster that plays the maracas. They'll come from everywhere.
Wasn't that also where the chicken played tic-tac-toe?
Is that one of the
in Atlantic City? I think that was in Atlanta.
Have you ever seen a jellyfish play Jeopardy?
I think that's where the chicken playing tic-tac-toe.
I know Nick's looking that
act
up.
Came from.
Steve, did you see the crab riding on top of a jellyfish? There's a video of this.
Somebody was talking about that.
And sure enough, there's a crab on top of it.
How about a crab riding on top of a jellyfish? Let's put a mule's head in a horse's ass. People will come from miles around.
Now we know, because I had the city beat not that long ago, that the skee ball game has its origins in Atlantic City.
Yes, from this very area. Yeah, we're looking at the video.
We're looking at the video of the crab ride a jellyfish.
Right.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Crab riding a jellyfish. Crab riding. Yeah, you would think that the jellyfish would be stinging the crab, but I guess
no. He's getting a ride.
Yeah, it's like their version of an Uber.
Yeah, or like one of those. At the Atlantic City, they push you in the thing.
The rickshaw.
The rickshaws. Yeah. That's what it's like. All right. Anyway, we have that deal that's available. I also want to remind you there's another thing through WMMR.com, and that is, well, actually, we send this to you. If you're a newsletter member of WMMR, we check out the latest Do It For You Dad contest. It's a chance for you on a $200 Lowe's gift card.
Nice.
So if you're already getting our emails, just look for the latest one in your inbox. Click on the link and register. If you are not signed up, it's a great time to go to WMMR.com, look for the link, subscribe under the More tab. As Steve has said, we don't send you a lot of stuff all the time. It's just on occasion. And a lot of times it's a great deal like this. Or it's like, a chance to get tickets. We'll send you information about ticket giveaways you may not be aware of that aren't just on air. They're off air, too.
Or one of my new recipes that uses curry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll include that occasionally.
Curry recipes from Steve. And then the last thing is, obviously, we have the blood drive. It's on Thursday and Friday. First time we've ever done a 2-day blood drive. Thursday, we couldn't do them because they have an event at Live Casino and Hotel on Friday when we're doing the live broadcast. So we split it up. We'd better to get more blood than worry about the fact that it's in one day.
Yeah.
So June 12th, Thursday, Live Casino Hotel, Philadelphia. Jackie Bam Bam will be there. We'll be checking in with him. And then the next day, Friday, the show, will be broadcasting from the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center at Oak. So you can go to WMMR.com, make an appointment. Donation times on Thursday are 8 to 2. And then Friday is the long day, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And Pierre is going to be there, and Brent Porsche as well. So they'll
which is
all
great.
Be broadcasting. And it says here, appointments are preferred.
You know what that means?
What?
If you show up, if everything goes your way and you weren't planning on going, but something happens and you are available and you'd like to give a shot to come down, if you meet the requirements, you're still going to be held to the same requirements. You can find those on the website. then you can donate blood.
Maybe you saw a crab riding on a jellyfish and it motivated
It
you to
inspired
go
you.
donate blood for whatever reason.
That's amazing. I've got to give blood.
And you get the newest Preston and Steve T-shirt designed by listener Kristen Kimball, and you also get a Preston and Steve Show tote bag from Window Nation. So that's coming up this week.
As far as I can tell, the chicken playing tic-tac-toe did not originate in Atlantic City.
Oh my God!
It did happen there. I think that the origins were in New York City. However, if you ever go to Ginny's Little Longhorn in Austin, Texas, you can also play.
Oh man,
chicken crap bingo.
Chicken S bingo.
Yeah. Where they crap on the card.
You pay for a numbered ticket. The chicken walks around on a number board. The chicken, if it picks your number, if it craps on it, you win cash.
I was to a place in Austin where they had a guinea pig that prepared your taxes.
Wow.
And that was pretty amazing.
Was it amazing to see that?
Because it was aware of certain deductions that my regular accountant did not know about.
How was your return that year?
It was pretty good.
Okay. Nice. All right, we can now do the bizarre file. Here we go.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you by 80 Moyer, trusted expert since 1939. 80 Moyer Lumber is your professional source for decks, windows, doors, kitchens, millwork, and more. You can visit them on the web at admoyer.com. A guest is suing the St. Regis Bal Harbor in Miami, claiming an employee used his master key to access her room while she was naked in the shower and stood there watching for several minutes. The incident occurred at the Marriott managed
Do you want mint for a pillow?
property on April 22nd when she noticed the bathroom door open and a man staring at her through the glass.
I want to kiss you. It's Joe Namath.
She screamed and he fled. She says she then reported the incident to hotel security in the front desk.
Could you imagine?
And then she waited for hours for a response. She said there was no immediate apology. After multiple follow-ups, she said the staff confirmed the man was an employee, claiming that he had entered the wrong room. However, security footage shows the staffer lingering outside her room for nearly a minute before entering and remaining inside for nearly 3 minutes.
Sounds like he waited for her to get into the shower.
And apparently, the hotel offered her a bottle of wine.
There you go.
To comp her room.
Maybe share it with the guy who came into your room.
She declined, left the hotel that night, and filed a police report the next morning. Her lawsuit argues that Marriott failed to properly screen, train, and supervise employees and put guests at risk by giving them unrestricted access to guest rooms. She wants $7 million. Reporting on the incident.
Yeah.
Reporting on the property.
How about $1 million and a cool video of a crab riding a jellyfish?
It has the property saying that they take guest safety seriously, but refusing to say whether the employee is still working at the property. So we'll see if this goes anywhere.
You would assume that the employees would just know that they're not supposed to go in and visit the guests as they're taking a shower.
It is an assumption, yes. In Michigan, police are looking for a man who allegedly pointed a gun at a group of kids. Michigan State Police said that the odd encounter with a strangely dressed man occurred near the Lake Billings Dam on Wednesday. 3 juveniles saw the man standing on the north side of the dam. After a brief conversation, listen to what he did. He allegedly pulled out what is believed to be a handgun, spun it around on his finger, and then pointed it at the juveniles.
So he's a real rootin' tootin' guy.
That's what I was thinking too, yeah. The male is described as a teenager with a deep voice. His attire was unique and included a red shirt, gray sweatpants, a cowboy-style hat with blue Crocs. He also had a side pouch, which was hung over his right shoulder.
Sounds like the worst cowboy ever.
Sat on his left hip, so anyone with information is asked to call police. Years after a SWAT team in Texas destroyed an innocent woman's home while trying to apprehend a fugitive, local government will have to pay her $60,000 in damages, plus interest, a federal judge ruled on Thursday.
Was the house demolished, or is this just for some damage?
It was beaten up bad. So here's like common sense, but the ending was far from guaranteed in a legal odyssey that saw Vicky Baker of McCunney, Texas, left with a dilapidated house and the bill for the damages, even though she was never suspected of wrongdoing. She said, I lost everything. I lost my chance to sell my house. I lost my chance to retire without fear of how I'm going to make my regular bills. In July 2020, law enforcement detonated about 30 tear gas grenades inside her home, blew off the garage entryway with explosives, and careened a Bearcat armored vehicle through her backyard fence.
Oh, no, that's a 6. You thought it was a 9.
They smashed the windows and drove through her front front door. Baker's daughter, Deanna Cook, had given them the garage door opener and the code to enter the home.
Wow, they just wanted to use some of that stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
Police were
We just bought this thing.
They were in search of Wesley Little, who was on the run after kidnapping a teenage girl. Upon arriving at Baker's home, Little, who had formerly worked for Baker as a handyman, encountered Cook, who called law enforcement. Little released the girl unharmed but refused to exit himself, prompting SWAT teams to destroy the home. He was ultimately found dead from suicide. She said the tear gas was everywhere. It was on the walls, it was on the floors, it was on the furniture, everywhere. Her daughter's dog was rendered deaf and blind from the flashbangs and the tear gas. Baker said she has very high regard for the police and that she did not challenge that they acted in the best interest of the community that day, but not long after they ravaged her home, things began to fall apart even more. Metaphorically speaking, her home insurance would not cover the damages, citing a clause that protects them from having to reimburse people for damages caused by the government. But the government would not help either, telling her that she did not meet its definition of victim.
And then the bigger question is, what kind of animal do you get for a blind dog?
The takings clause of the Fifth Amendment promises the government cannot take private property without just compensation, but some governments have managed to evade that pledge by claiming there is an exception to that rule if the property was destroyed via police power.
Yeah.
Judge Amos Mazant of the U.S. District Court of the Eastern District of Texas in 2021 ruled that Baker could sue, ultimately calling that interpretation of the law unattainable. In June 2022, a jury awarded her $60,000 in damages, yet that victory was short-lived. The U.S. Court of Appeals reversed that judgment in 2023, ruling that she was foreclosed from relief under federal law because police acted out of a necessity during an act of emergency. Why didn't they just give this woman? They destroyed her home.
Well, also, by the way, was her representation pro bono, or was she having to pay legal costs to get this?
Yeah, that too. The Supreme Court declined to hear the case last year, so Baker pivoted back to the Texas Constitution. And then this article goes on and on about all the loopholes.
Give her the money!
And everything that she had to jump through to try and get the money back. And they finally said it's way too late that they're going to be able to eventually compensate her for. But that's ridiculous. I mean, when it's obvious that something like that has occurred, buck up, baby.
Yeah.
All right, and there you go. That's what I have in the Bizarre File for you this morning. Speaking of bucking up, our next guest is involved in a charity event that is going to raise a lot of money for a very cool cause. Casey has been a part of this event for years now. How long have you been doing this?
I think this is going to be my fourth year, and then Marissa's been a part of this for a few years longer than I have.
All right, so this is the 10th event for it. It is NRG's annual flag football game, and they get local notables to be a part of this.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, and we from NRG, we have the Senior Manager Communications gentleman, Dan McCunney is joining us. Nice to see you, Dan. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We've seen you at our Camp Out for Hunger.
Yeah.
NRG is a wonderful contributor to Camp Out for Hunger.
Fantastic.
So you guys, you do a lot of great charity work, so congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, charity is a big part of what we do here in this community, so it's nice to be able to give back, certainly with this event.
So 10th year for the flag football game?
10 years, yeah.
Do you play in it?
I do not. No, thankfully, I've got all my bones and ankles and things still intact. But no, I do not play. But we've got a really fantastic slate of players this year, including Casey and Marissa. So we're just super excited to have this event for the 10th year and really support these wonderful causes.
Yeah, watching the footage, we see some of the, and Casey's mentioned, some of the local sports people that we know and love who come out and support the Camp Out for Hunger as well. And just, as you said, a lot of local notables. Casey, you and Marissa get into this.
Oh, yeah.
You're not phoning this in.
No.
It's a real competition.
You go out there to compete, no doubt. And listen, it's all fun and friendly and all that. But the bottom line is you want to win. And last year, my kryptonite was Kyle Pagan and his long ass arms, dude. That freaking guy needs to stay away from defensive line because I was a quarterback 2 years in a row, and Jervis was the MVP. My MVP receiver the first year. Pat Gallen was my MVP receiver the second year. And then last year, I just couldn't get the ball through Kyle Pagan's arms. And it was it was really, really frustrating.
He's a towering dude.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. And not a bad athlete as well.
Dan, what are tell us about the charities that you guys are going to be contributing to?
Yeah, so we're, event is in support of Big Brothers Big Sisters, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, Nemours, and Phil Abundance. So they're four of our Choose to Give partners and four local organizations that people know really, really well.
Yeah, those are all great ones.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
So the Choose to Give program is one of our home energy plans. So you sign up for a Choose to Give plan with NRG, and you can contribute a portion of your energy bill each month to one of these 4 organizations. So every time you're turning on a light switch,
it's great.
Plugging in your EV, you're contributing to one of these 4 organizations.
So what you're saying is if you are on this program, leave your lights and air conditioner and everything on.
Exactly. Just power your house.
Because it's for charity.
Yeah,
Dan, do you get to choose which one of those specific charities it goes to?
Yeah, when you sign up for the Energy Choose to Give plan, you can choose one of these 4 charities.
I love that. That's excellent. And how much will be donated this week? Do you have any idea?
So we're giving $36,000 at this event tomorrow.
Wow, yes, nice.
And it'll go to all 4 of these organizations.
So the question is, in case I don't even know, and I'll ask it to both of you, are spectators allowed, or would that hamper the situation?
Yeah, so we're playing in the NovaCare complex, so
Okay.
it's a limited space.
right.
So it's not open to the public, but they can follow along at hashtag NRG Charity Game.
Is it being streamed?
Yes.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah,
All
so you can follow along with the hashtag and follow our Pick NRG social media channels. You can find all the the action there.
We going to see you at Camp Out for Hunger this year?
Yeah, we'll be back for Camp Out. We're super excited about that. It's one of our biggest events that we participate in every year, and super excited to come back for another year.
Nice. We're working on locking in a date for that. We're like very, very close. We were just telling Dan it's like 99.5%. But before we give you the save the date information on air, we'll make sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted and all that stuff. But that's coming up soon. I can't believe we're talking about Camp Out for Hunger already.
You have to, though. Yeah. Any of these things are huge. But no, we really appreciate the relationship because it means over these many years, the people that you can rely on to deliver, and you guys do all the time. So thank you so much.
I am, and thank you, by the way, for putting me on Team Phil Abundance. Because if we do win tomorrow, we get to donate more to Phil Abundance than everybody else. So,
Case, do you know who you're playing with yet?
I do. I know Breland Moore is going to be back on with us. So a couple of years ago, she tore her ACL.
Yes, I remember.
While we were playing. So she's going to be playing with us. I believe there's a weather person from CBS.
Greg Gilmore.
Yeah, there you go. I know that Amy from Phil Abundance is going to be on our team and a few other people. But the other cool thing is each of the 4 teams gets a coach. And our coach is a former Philadelphia Eagle. So Hollis Thomas, Jason Avant.
This year we've got Todd Harrimans, Hollis Thomas, William Thomas, and we're still waiting on the 4th coach. But the Eagles legends are just diehards. You know, they in a lot of cases left the field decades ago, but they've still got that competitive spirit that they bring to the game. And
you cannot
not left.
You can't take that out of a professional athlete.
No, and I got to tell you, man, it is such a cool experience to play football in the bubble at the NovaCare complex. It's really
a
cool.
pristine condition. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, awesome. Yeah.
So you can follow, it says @pick_NRG. And then you can tag NRG Charity Game for all the game day updates and behind the scenes moments. And that's taking place tomorrow. Any idea what time this is going on?
Yeah, so we'll get started around 11 o'clock a.m. and then run till about 1 o'clock.
And then the winners parade through the city takes place when?
You got to wait a couple of days.
Yeah. Let those bones heal.
All right, Dan, thank you so much for what you guys do. We appreciate
thank you guys for having me.
Dan McCunney. NRG Energy. We are going to take one more break, come back in a second. We'll actually have a couple of breaks still coming up because we have lesson, question, trash, music, news on the way when we return. So stay with us, please.
Preston and Steve.
So she said, hey, tell your parents, remember to pay me. My son goes, oh, yeah. You like the paper monies, not the little round ones.
The little round coins.
The little round ones have been a thing with us forever since then.
So you've used that. Yep, I love it. It's like the metal money.
It's funny because kids are obviously prone to do that because they're building their vocabularies at that point. But when you're an adult and you call it a moo-moo.
Yep, that's a different story. So let me go to Dylan. Hey, Dylan, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Sorry to bother you guys at work.
It's okay.
We want it. What's up, bud?
So I was camping with my girlfriend, and we walked past this little pond, and I go, look at that dove goose. And she's like, what? And I'm like, that, classy duck. It was a swan.
It was a swan.
A dove goose.
Classy duck. Or dove goose. You just couldn't come up with the name swan. I love it. All right. Thank you, Dylan.
Thank you.
Appreciate
an
it.
elegant dove goose.
Stop looking at me, classy duck. All right. I was looking for that. Stop looking at me, swan.
I got you.
All right. Thank you.
I've been in it.
That's like a go-to for you.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
All right, let's see. This says, growing up, we had a piece of furniture that we didn't know what to call. Was it a bureau, a dresser? And we all agreed to call it Uncle Fred. And that's weird until we have company, they said. So I don't know why. All right, so that's not exactly what this is. All right, here, my buddy once forgot the name, the term air horn, and called it spray scream.
Spray scream.
It's in a it's in a can.
That, yeah.
So, yep. Let's see. When my sister was young, she didn't know the word cemetery, so she would call it dead people field. This one says, at one point, I started Googling map of the year because my brain short-circuited and I couldn't recall the word calendar.
Oh my God.
Map of the year.
Map of the year.
You probably get a lot of that when people have had some sort of head trauma and they're trying to fuse ideas together. You know.
Yeah.
This one said, my husband wanted me to pass him the cooking tongs, and instead he said sausage tweezers. And that one could stick too. If you accidentally slip and say something like that, that's going to be what it is known from here on out. I'll go to Kenny. Hey, Kenny.
Bonjour, bitches.
What's up, buddy?
So we were going to my friend's place, and I couldn't remember the name. So my friends asked, like, where's he live? I'm like, the room houses? What the hell are room houses? Apartments.
Oh my God. So instead of
room
you just couldn't remember apartments.
Yeah.
Room houses.
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
Condos would be like that as well, right?
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. So earlier I was talking about feathers.
Yes.
And I accidentally said flowers. This one said a girl called a feather a bird leaf.
There's like minds.
This says, my buddy couldn't find the word for lungs, and he came up with breath sacks instead.
Oh, my God.
And another one said, at a house party, when this trash bro came up to me, he said, hey, man, I'm about to score. You got one of those plastic penis socks? You wanted a condom.
Condom, yeah.
Another person said, I once referred to a fly swatter as a bug spatula when the name escaped me. I like that one, too. Bug spatula could be a name of a band. Someone said, I was looking for the word cereal, couldn't come up with it. The best I could do was breakfast soup.
Breakfast soup. I like that.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to go to, let me go to Joe. Hi, Joe. Good morning.
Hey, bitches.
Hey, what? What's up, Joe?
What's up? So, for some reason, I couldn't think of the word mango, and I was flipping with my words and be like, oh, yeah, that orange fruit. And then I thought I had it. I exclaimed, oh, yeah, Mongo.
Blazing Saddles.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a character in Blazing Saddles named Mongo. So Mongo instead of mangoes.
I think that's exactly what I was thinking of. That's just where my brain went. Instead of mangoes.
Thanks, Joe.
It's the way you transpose things in your mind.
So apparently, and the way behind that, the meaning behind that, Steve, or the reason, we're going to go to Dottie, who is a speech therapist and can help us out with a little bit of this. Hi, Dottie. Good morning.
Hi, you guys rock.
Thank you, Dottie. So there's an actual word for this, not being able to think of a word?
Yeah, so it's called word retrieval. So you're not forgetting what you want to say. Imagine your brain is like a four-drawer filing cabinet filled and filled and filled with files, right? Which are the words. You're just having trouble finding it. So it's tip of the tongue phenomenon, very common, and it actually gets worse as your vocabulary expands because you don't want to say pancake flipper, you want to say spatula. So you're hesitating so that you find the exact word that you want to say.
So you're saying that the more elaborate your vocabulary, the more likely you are to struggle for the word, the perfect word.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right.
Right.
Interesting.
It's funny, Dottie, because when that guy called in, he called the cow the moo-moo to his daughter, and his daughter's like, no, that's a cow. I was thinking, I'm like, dude, you don't even know that many words yet. Of course you know the word cow. Like, you know how many words we've learned over this, And I often thought of that, too, like, as a kid, and, like, an adult would come over and didn't remember, like, all of our names. Like, you're like, how could you not remember my name? I'm your cousin, or, but you know how many names I've learned over the last 40 years?
Is there a better way? Is there a way, Dottie, to train yourself or different?
Yes, so I was just going to say, so Casey, the next time that you're searching for the word moderation, you're actually supposed to go through the alphabet quickly, and you'd be like A, B, C, and I promise you, when you get to M, moderation will come out.
Oh,
That's an interesting. Just take the time, even if you
I
eat.
do it.
Go ahead.
I do it all the time. I work in a school, and the kids' names, like, I'm like my 37th year in a school, and all the kids' names blend together. So I'm like ABC. Oh, Jalen, hi.
There you go. Wow.
Very interesting.
All right, we'll give that a shot.
And so probably wouldn't work when you need to come up with the word quickly, but if it's escaping you.
No, you'd be surprised how quick. You would be surprised, once you start doing it.
Oh, it's Xander.
Okay, you're right.
I can write down the alphabet like from memory alone.
Wow, you are amazing.
Yeah.
Very good, Casey.
What if you forget a letter in the alphabet?
Yeah, what if that? All right, thank you, Dottie. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, a few others quickly. We're going to have to take a break here in a moment. This one says, I couldn't remember oven mitt, so I called it a heat gauntlet.
I love that.
Another one says, I couldn't think of the word robe, so I I asked my friend for a towel jacket.
Yes. I mean, that's essentially what it is.
So, I always laugh about the way the Dyson company names their various appliances. So we have Dyson fans in the house, but they don't call them fans. They call them air multipliers.
Oh, well, air
multipliers.
Yep. This one says I couldn't remember the word for lid, so the only thing I could do was look for drink hats. That's what they called them, drink hats.
Oh, well, the decorative, and now I call them beauty tacks, but they're the you put in sandwiches.
Oh, yeah, toothpicks?
Toothpicks, yeah. I always call them beauty tacks.
Beauty tacks?
Yeah.
Okay. Another one says I was playing Pictionary with some friends, and the prompt was skunk, so I did my best to draw skunk, and my friend yelled stinky cat.
That works.
Instead of skunk. Another one says I once called toothpaste tooth soap, and I couldn't think of the name. And another one says when looking for the word sore, this girl couldn't think of it, and she said the words muscle hangover. So I guess after working out.
Oh, okay. All right. Got it.
Yeah. My friend was frustrated because she couldn't find her shoehorn and then said loudly, "Where is the boot spoon?"
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you think I said butt spoon?
No. Never mind.
It looks spoon-like. Yes.
And then the last one says, my mom always says wanky candles instead of Yankee candles.
Okay.
That could be interpreted as something else.
I do like that as
You
well.
touching your wanky candle again? All right, anyhow. But it's called, I even forgot what she said it was called.
Word retrieval.
Thank you.
Yes.
Nice.
And just go through the alphabet.
Yes.
It'll be all good. All right, we can reminisce about this stuff if you want to, ladies, because we have a sorority party we would like to invite you to at Parks Casino. This is going to be Wednesday, June 15th, 1 week from today, 6 to 8 p.m. We'll be in the Liberty Bell Beer Garden at Parks Casino, and we're going to do a square dance party. In fact, we have members of the Federation of Delaware Valley Square and Round Dancers.
There you go.
What's round dancing?
I think the edges are softer.
Oh, they must be.
Yeah.
I've never heard of round dancing.
Well,
square dancing and round dancing.
We did square dancing, and we would move in a circle. Maybe that's just a riff.
So we'll take, you know what? We'll take, just to make Bill happy, 9 ladies that want to go. And you can bring a friend. Everybody has to be female and 21 years or older. 215-263-WMMR. So it is next Wednesday. We always like to have an activity to do at our parties. And this one is square and round dancing.
Why not?
I think round dancing may just be the more modern square dance.
Okay. All right. Let's get you on board, and we will do it up next Wednesday at Parks Casino. We're going to take a break. We'll come back in a second. Going live on Fox. Good day. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
And
This is not the connoisseur.
No, it is
not your parents' connoisseur.
And Nick is giggling because I think he knows what it's about. So we were at Subaru doing our live broadcast a couple weeks ago, and I was online, and I was just pulling up some stuff, and I saw sometimes these headlines, like in prep services, I'm like, okay, whatever, man.
Yeah.
And it was like five of the best celebrity chef egg salad recipes. And I just turned to Nick and I go, Nick, what's your favorite celebrity egg salad recipe? And then, warranted, I just was doing it as a throwaway jokey line. Nick gives me his top 3 favorite types of salads.
Of course he did.
And so then we started having a discussion amongst me and Casey and Nick of favorite types of salads. Now, by that, not really meaning lettuce-based salads.
Anything.
We were keying off of egg salad, but we were going through things like macaroni salad, potato salad, chicken salad, tuna salad.
And macaroni, did you say?
I said macaroni
Okay, yeah,
salad.
all right.
And there's three bean salad. There's bean salad.
Okay, yeah.
There's all kinds of different salads.
I ranked my 5.
All right, what were your 5?
Was tossing my in there?
No. Well, that's number 6.
I have no interest in having my salad tossed.
No. Listen, when a guy asks for it, I'll do it.
Okay.
But
you'll do it, but you don't want it done.
No, I don't.
Either way.
That's what my bidet is for.
All right. Anyway, go ahead. Nick's favorite salads.
You want 1 to 5 or 5 to 1?
5 to 1. I like ending at
3.
number 1.
Yeah, all right.
With a drum roll before we get to 1.
Number 5, and this is just my personal ranking.
Yes.
Tuna.
Okay.
Then number 4.
Wait.
Preston and Steve Show. It's about 11 minutes after 10 on Tuesday morning, Tat Tuesday, giving away that at the end of the program. We got rain right here in Ballackinwood, coming down pretty steady at this point. And, this is going to kind of be hit or miss today, depending on where you are from what I've seen. So I haven't looked at the radar. You know I am a meteorologist.
You are, by trade.
I need to make sure I stay on top of these things. Now I'll pull it up. I actually have my little app here, and I'll look at that right about now, just where we are. Oh, yeah. Oh, we got lots of reds and yellows in this area, so the big old front coming through. Tomorrow, though, sunshine, high of 86, so not too bad. We're going to ask a lesson question, and we're going to give away... I did my lesson questions.
There he are.
I got it right here. Got it right there. Thank you. We are going to give away for the lesson question a pair of tickets for the NASCAR Cup Series Great American Gateway 400. That's going to be on Sunday, June 22nd at Pocono Raceway. So here's the question for you. Where is the basalt? If you heard that earlier this morning. And you got to say it correctly.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a little humorous thing that we're looking for that was said earlier on the air this morning. Where is the basalt? Where would you find that? All right, 610-660-9333 is our number. And if you call and you get through and you give us the right answer, you win the prize. You get those tickets. We'll do this while you're calling.
The trash business is a gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
All right, brought to you by Primo Hoagies. Celebrate dads and grads with Primo Hoagies catering trays. You can make any event Primo with 10% off all catering every Friday, Saturday, Sunday until 6/15, meaning June 15th.
Right.
I'm going to change that right now. Must be a Primo Perks member, by the way. Steve, what's going on this morning?
Well, Preston, I know this is going to rock your world. Ex-NFL star Pac-Man Jones in the slammer again after getting arrested for public intoxication and assaulting a police officer. Jones says the worst part of it all was having to tell his wife, Ms. Pac-Man Jones.
Oh, my God.
Blake Lively's legal team, you mentioned this earlier, Preston, scoring a huge victory against Justin Baldoni with the judge throwing out his countersuit because her case was also based on a civil claim. Now, don't worry if you don't understand this. Just know that everyone hates both of them. And finally, Taylor Swift asking the law to intercede after an ex-con started claiming she's the mother of his child. 45-year-old drifter Brian Jason Wagner says he holds no ill will toward Swift, saying it was one night of passion and she left town without ever knowing he was pregnant. And that's your Hollywood Trash.
All right, we will indeed try to find an answer to the question, and today it is as follows. Where is the basalt? Where will you find the basalt? I'm going to go to, let's see, we got Dave, who we're going to check in with. Hi, Dave, you're on the air, buddy.
Dave! Hey, Preston, how in the hell are you?
I'm good, buddy. How the hell are you?
Great, man, thank you.
All right, where is the basalt?
In the ocean.
Yeah, that's right, yes. You'll find the basalt in the ocean, and hang on the line, buddy. We are going to give you a pair of tickets for the NASCAR Cup Series Great American Gateway 400. Sunday, June 22nd at Pocono Raceway. It's time to start your summer as NASCAR returns on June 20th through the 22nd to the Tricky Triangle of Pocono. For more information and to get your tickets now, you can head to PoconoRaceway.com.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
Brought to you by Adam Home Services. Is your AC ready for the heat? Well, Adam Home Services has you covered and will waive your dispatch fee when you book your AC repair at AdamHomeServices.com. Well, this was sad to see, but Sly Stone, one-time San Francisco DJ turned pop and funk music innovator, has died. He was 82 years old. Great song.
I love this song. And I love that it's a long song.
Yeah. The family released a statement saying after a prolonged battle with a COPD and other underlying health issues, Sly passed away peacefully, surrounded by his 3 children, his closest friend, and his extended family. While we mourn his absence, we take solace in knowing that his extraordinary musical legacy will continue to resonate and inspire for generations to come. After huge chart-topping success in the 1960s and 70s, Stone had become an enigmatic and largely reclusive figure plagued by homelessness and health issues as well.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Especially since his daughter, Sharon Stone, was doing so well.
That's not his daughter.
That's not his daughter?
Actually, when I saw the headline on the news this morning, I thought it said Sly Stallone had died, but it was Sly Stone.
No. I'm okay.
Yeah. So
Different strokes for different folks. I'm not good at that.
Sly sings Stone.
What do you expect to pay for this amazing record package? Sly Stallone sings Sly and the Family Stone.
So he also endured financial problems amid management disputes, at one point winning a $5 million judgment for unpaid royalties that was later overturned. In one dire period, a report indicated that the Woodstock icon was living in a van in Los Angeles.
It's very sad because, and he was ripped off quite a lot. There was a lot of sampling done of his music.
But despite such misfortunes, the music created by the Texas-born California transplant and his trend-setting, multiracial, multi-gendered Bay Area band, the Family Stone, had never stopped being a touchstone for generations of musicians. Among Stone's oft-covered but never matched hits were I Want to Take You Higher, Hot Fun in the Summertime. I love that song.
Another great song.
Stand, and the infectious and phonetically titled funk anthem, Thank You. We played a little bit of Everyday People. And another great song is Dance to the Music.
Another one.
Dance to the music. Great stuff. And they were, they had pageantry. That band, they were one of the first kind of glam funk bands to really put on costumes, and of course they influenced P-Funk, and
would it be safe to say without them there would be no Lisa Loeb? That's probably not a good opinion.
I don't know. I have, maybe she was influenced by them. I have no idea.
Maybe they influenced her. No, you're right. I mean, there was so much going up on the stage that you were always looking at different things.
Yeah. Stone's family noted that the musician had recently completed a screenplay for his life story, so
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, we may yet get more info on that down the road. But yeah, they were a big deal when that band showed up. It was like the circus came to town, man.
If you were to, who would you get to play him?
Wow, that's a really good question. Somebody who could do the singing on their own, I think.
Oh, and you wouldn't use the original tracks?
I don't know. I mean, because I like what Jamie Foxx was able to do with Ray.
That was
if
cool.
you get somebody who's really talented, I think it's cool when they can do that. And obviously, Val Kilmer did that with the Doors. I think it'd be if they could get somebody who was just a really legit, great musician. I don't know. I wonder if like a Lenny Kravitz could pull off something like that, because he's an actor, but he's a little old for it as well. But who knows? But we'll have to see how that ends up rolling out. Good Morning America has announced the lineup for this year's summer concert series. New Kids on the Block. Now, go easy on me because I don't know some of the current artists, but Bia and G-Eazy.
Nope.
Okay. Manuel Turizo.
Nope.
Good Charlotte.
Yep.
Is this the menu at Applebee's?
Could I get a Manuel Turizo, please? Medium rare. Laufey, Gloria Estefan, Dierks Bentley,
that one.
No, and Teyana Taylor are all set to, or Teyana Taylor, that's what I said. That's what you said. Oh, thank you. are all
You're
set.
having a conversation.
My
with
doctor
yourself.
says I have a split personality. Yo, does he? Yeah, he does.
To take the stage over the coming weeks. The new Kids on the Block kick things off this Thursday, and Teyana Taylor wraps up the series on August 29th. All the performances will broadcast live during Good Morning America, which airs from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on ABC.
So they have their concert series. The Today Show has their concert series. I mean, they have these battling things outside.
Should we start a concert
Remember,
series?
didn't we call leading up to the Super Bowl our concert series?
Yeah.
What were we doing? I don't remember.
We were just having people sing the Eagles fight song.
Oh, yeah.
We called it.
We
a
got some
concert.
good ones.
It was a concert series.
We had G Love and
Yes.
Lizzie Hale.
We
And
sure did.
Who else do we have? Anybody else?
The Hooters.
The Hooters. Yep, that's correct. So, yeah. I forgot. Yeah, WoFat came in. I forgot we did our concert series.
We had our own concert series.
That was cool. All right, and then one last story. Prince fans, get ready because new music is on the way. The artist's estate has announced that they are cracking open the vault of the artist's unreleased music. Wow.
What if he is in there alive and it was a robot that passed away?
Whoa.
Then that would be awesome, right?
I'm not saying that's a fact, but it's pretty damn near a fact.
A boxed set edition of 1985's Around the World in a Day is reportedly set to come out. Vinyl editions of 2015's Hit and Run Phase 1 and Hit and Run Phase 2 are also said to be in the works.
So, how influenced was he by Sly and the Family Stone, right?
Good question. I don't know. Prince, I don't know if Prince would tell you what his influences
I know.
were or not. You know what I mean?
But I mean, if again, it is.
But he had to.
No one would contest the fact that he is a singular musical talent. Prince was.
Yep.
But I mean, he had to have influences.
Absolutely. It says you don't have to wait for brand new music from Prince, as his estate has released a new acoustic version of his 1982 track Free, which is available to stream now if you would like to check that out. All right, and there you go. That's what I have in music news for you.
I wonder if he was a Doobie Brothers fan.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be cool.
Maybe he watched What's Happening.
Maybe he
saw
did.
them on there. I don't really know.
Which Doobie you be?
Yeah. All right, that is what I have in the entertainment, or I'm not in the entertainment report, in the music news. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back in a second. When we return, we wrap up the program for the day. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Preston and Steve.
I'll forward it to you. I wrote it down too, Steve, so I didn't
Do you
forget.
have Rizzo counting them off, by the way, Casey?
Nah, but not direct.
He does.
It's going the other way.
He does the other way. Yeah.
Tuna?
3.
All right, number 5.
I'll tell you all my salads.
I'll toss you on
I'll toss your salad back there behind the house over there.
Yeah.
This is my ranking. Number
Right.
5, tuna. Steve, number 4, potato. Number 3, egg. Number 2, macaroni.
Wow.
Number 1, chicken.
Chicken salad.
All right,
Okay.
so I admire your diversity. I say I would disagree heartily a lot of it,
Heartily?
but I believe in your this list.
I think you and I
believe it means something to you, and I respect that.
Thank you.
really
Because you
very
and I
much.
we're on the same page quite a bit.
We are.
Food
However,
related.
I'll
All right.
tell you this: I stand in direct contradiction to my wife's own salad loves.
Okay.
Someone who I've seen naked. So,
So there's that.
so there's that.
Right.
I love. Well, let you go first. I want to hear everyone else's before I commit to my list.
I'm actually making my list right
Oh,
now.
all right.
I didn't.
All right, I'm gonna go. I'll tell you this.
I
was
need
gonna
to
say-
come up with number 5.
I'll tell you what. Okay, Kathy.
No, I was going to say I could go first because I don't like any of those because they contain mayonnaise and it.
You don't like mayonnaise?
No,
Okay.
to me it disgusts me. I could tolerate.
There's mayonnaise
chicken.
in my shorts right now.
I could tolerate chicken salad.
You know what though? Hang on a second. One of the best tuna salads I've ever had was not mayonnaise based. It was oil based.
See, that I could do.
With like some capers and a little lemon in there.
It's just and listen, I used to like it, but like over the years, I can't stand mayo. So any of those, I pass up on.
What
them.
about cream cheese? Can you do cream cheese?
Like if it's
like a cream cheese salad.
I don't like cream cheese
Okay.
that much, but if it's light, maybe.
Cream cheese
Because
nuts and
I
mayonnaise.
saved this recipe for an egg salad that calls for cream cheese.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I hate egg salad.
Oh, so that would be would that not even
I
be
am
in your
not a
top
fan
5?
of potato salad. In the battle of there's always potato salad and macaroni salad side by side. Macaroni wins every time.
All right, I got my list here.
All right.
All right. So, and two of them are kind of the same.
Same
Why
thing.
is there no TV coverage of this?
Well, I'll explain here. So I have I have number 5 is pasta salad. But But number 4 is macaroni salad. In case he's like, well, they're the same thing. No, not the way I. Thank you.
No.
Yeah.
Heathen.
So
Pasta salad doesn't have mayo.
Yes,
I
you're right.
could go with pasta salad.
That's oil based, right? Yeah. So that's usually oil or maybe some Italian dressing or something like that.
I love pasta
Does
salad.
macaroni salad have mayo in it?
Yes, it does.
Oh, okay.
And then you're thinking maybe a different version of macaroni salad, but yes, it's got mayo and sometimes a little sugar. So sometimes they make it a little bit.
I've had
sweet.
macaroni salad,
cheese.
I've had pasta salad with something that was very similar to like a mayonnaise-ish type of thing, but I macaroni salad can operate on many different levels.
Man. And
pasta salad. Excuse me.
Right. Yeah. So Casey has a point though that pasta salad can be made with macaroni. But that's not macaroni salad.
Right.
No.
Yes.
Right.
Agreed.
Unless you're a
Agreed.
jerk.
Now, somebody just texted something that I completely forgot about and would put on my list. So
Is it ambrosia?
It's ham salad. You guys ever had ham salad?
Is that like hoagie salad? Because I've had a hoagie salad.
No, it's not quite like hoagie dip is kind of hoagie salad, I guess you could call that. But But no, ham salad is essentially it's ham and some relish and mayo and salt and pepper, and it's kind of blended up. And the ham is finely, like not even minced. It's like even smaller than that. It's kind of blended.
I've had it with like cubed ham in it, Preston.
Oh, man, that too.
Right.
That's that's chunky ham salad. All right. So anyway, let me finish my list.
Come on.
Get off my back. It's over.
It's over.
All right. So
coming back, Vietnam. People trying to tell me what their favorite salads were. I got my own list.
Remember, this is Stupid Preston and Steve chat, by the way.
Yep.
Number 3, I would make tuna salad on my list. I do. It's got to be made the right way, though. That's the thing. I'm really picky about it. One of my favorite tuna salads is from Panera. Number 2 would be chicken salad, and without question, no holds barred, my absolute favorite type of salad is potato salad.
Wow.
Potato.
Wow. Do you boil them?
I love it. I mash them. I shove them in a stew. No, but I like all different kinds of. I like the German potato salad.
Potatoes.
Yep. I like.
Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Tons of different. My mom made this really great potato salad, which every now and then, it's a lot of work to make it, but every now and then we'll make it. It's got bacon and egg and pickles and bread and butter pickles. I know you hate those, Casey.
Not a big fan.
But yes, I think potato salad is by far my number 1.
And so
that's
we're
just
not
me
talking
personally.
about any lettuce-based salad, kale-based salad.
I think we're
spinach
staying
salad.
away from that.
because
Yeah.
that's
Just wanted to make
that's
sure.
a standard. And there's so in that case, I would love a Mediterranean salad. I would love. I
love a Greek salad.
Spinach, arugula, also as well, Preston. But like a feta, olives.
Actually, I would go with a wedge. I like a good wedge.
All of that in a classic
wedge.
Mediterranean stew.
Yeah.
All right, Steve, I want to hear your list.
Salad stew. Okay. I don't even know if I can put this. All right. So I love tuna salad.
Okay, is that your 5 or your 1?
Okay, this is hard, man. This is harder
know.
than I thought.
This seems frivolous and stupid on
this,
you try it.
Wars have been fought over this.
You try and make your list of top
The
salads.
Peloponnesian War was a salad-based war.
I did
The
not
Peloponnesian
know
War?
Yeah,
What?
absolutely. I'm gonna go. You twisted my melon because of the last second introduction of pasta salad.
Okay. Yeah.
Because pasta salad is so versatile. You could put tuna in a pasta salad. You could put chicken in a pasta salad.
Absolutely. But I think that it still remains at its heart, whatever you add to it, a pasta salad.
I love tuna salad prepared. I'm like you, man. It's got to be the right way. If you F it up, I'll slit your throat. I will tell you this. We actually have a tuna salad brought in from the Broadway Deli on Hicksville Road in Long Island from our relatives every time they come down.
That's the best?
That's the best.
Your favorite?
That's our favorite.
Okay.
All right. And then you move on to, I would say, chicken salad's okay. In a barbecue setting where you have potato and macaroni always wins. I'm going to go with tuna and pasta salad as my favorite salads.
Okay.
I don't like potato salad. I hate egg salad. Macaroni again will be a winner. Chicken in a pinch. But I'm not as my palate is not as cultivated as yours as you guys.
I do like egg salad, but I will back you up, Steve. It can be a little scary sometimes. It can be a little daunting. Do you like deviled eggs?
Not much.
Okay.
And then to me, it's
kind of like deviled eggs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm surprised. Well, not surprised.
The police Rocks on 93.3 WMMR. It's everything that rocks. Roxanne. 10:29. Actually, hold on. Wait. Oh,
What?
No,
What?
it's now 10:30.
Hey!
There we go. Just wanted to go ahead and move right to that moment. It's like one thing is just a little bit off, and it's like 3 or 4 seconds.
It's like the odometer in your car.
Yeah.
Like you've got to
drive around
bear
the block
witness. Yeah.
a couple times
Got
and
to
see
it happen.
See that roll over. Well, you don't really get that satisfaction that much anymore.
No.
Remember the actual tumblers, the rolling things?
I used to love that.
Roll over.
Yeah.
Something
Slow,
about
and
that.
if you could catch it mid,
Yeah.
I'm just going to stop here.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop the car on the highway.
All right. So I would like to thank a few people who were a part of today's program. Number one, I want to congratulate, actually, our own Casey boy, because he won. He won the Delco Legend Award.
Whoa! So people, to put this in context, Cecil B. DeMille, the Cecil B. DeMille Award.
Yeah.
He is the first Carol Burnett Award that is now given. He is the first legend in this series.
Could we call it the Casey B. DeMille Award?
Yeah.
Casey Boy DeMille Award.
Yeah, Casey Boy DeMille Award. I love that.
But this is really, really cool. And the fact that my buddies saw this, Peg DeGrasse, she's a writer for the Daily Times, wrote an article about the Delco Day Party, included the Delco Legend thing, and my friends saw it and they screen captured it and then sent it to a group text. I think they get a kick out of this because they know what a piece of crap I really am in real life. So
I think they're actually celebrating you because you really have been as fervent an advocate for Delco as anyone.
Love it.
So thank you to Al Zafiri and Hollywood Holbrook for stopping by this morning, the hosts of the Delco Live podcast, and they are the organizers of Delco Day, which technically is today. It's 6/10.
Yeah.
But they hold the party like the weekend as close to that date as possible.
It makes
so they
sense.
had this past weekend. Then we had, Tom Johnston of the Doobie Brothers on the show this morning. We've been waiting to talk to that guy for a long, long time. They have a new album out. It's called Walk This Road, and Michael McDonald is back with everybody, Pat and John and Tom from, earlier days of lineup, and then
Mickey, Bobby,
and Michael from, his time in the band. So they're all in the band together. And they're going to be performing Freedom Mortgage Pavilion on August 13th with the Coral Reefer Band.
That's awesome.
Cool to have by. And then thank you from NRG Energy, Dan McCunney, who stopped by this morning. Casey and Marissa are playing at NRG's 10th annual flag football game tomorrow afternoon. And it's not a public event, but it raises funds, and they're going to donate a lot of great money to places like CHOP and Big Brothers Big Sisters and Phil Abundance and all that. So, and we'll find out who the victor is. Have you ever won MVP?
No.
Oh, wow.
I thought that first year I should have. I threw, I think, 9 touchdown passes in 2 games, but they gave it to Jervis because he caught 3 of them, I guess. So,
okay.
No, I'm not.
Come on.
I'm not sour.
Not at all. You should have won that.
They gave the next one.
we love Jervis, but come on.
Yeah.
Let's be real here.
And then the next one they gave to
The
Pat
Delco
Gallen.
legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They gave it to Pat Gallen, which I'm happy for him because of what he was unable to do at the Papa Shot challenge. So
I mean, we
happy
love
for Pat Gallen.
but come on.
Yeah. Come on. Today has been Tattoos Day. We got to give away our prize. And this prize, the $350 gift certificate, goes to Stephanie Thimodo. From Glenside, Pennsylvania. Stephanie going to get a $350 gift certificate for Floating World Tattoo and Piercing, which you can find at 1729 South Street in Philadelphia. Want to check out the artwork samples? Go to floatingworldtattoos.com, or you can check them out on Instagram at Floating World Tattoos as well. So we'll need to do the letter of the day, and I guess we can ask Casey to give that to us. You ready?
I got you.
All right.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
The Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by the letter
E as in equestrian.
All right, we're going to give away a pair of VIP tickets for the Barefoot Country Music Festival featuring Jelly Roll and many more, courtesy of our friends Primo Hoagies. Primo will also be giving away Barefoot tickets for the next 2 weeks on their Instagram account. So go to Primo Hoagies on Instagram for more chances to win. It's not just a hoagie, it is a Primo. We'll also take this moment to thank our sponsors. The Preston and Steve Show has been brought to you today by Acme Markets, fresh foods, local flavors. Also brought to you by Dunkin', and the Preston and Steve Show runs on Dunkin'. and by Certa Pro Painters. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. Tomorrow on the program, we're working on it. We're going to go on Fox Good Day, where we got plenty of things to talk about. More Hershey Park tickets to give away for that live broadcast coming up on June 26th. You can go to WMMR.com and click on the contest page. There's a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets there as well. So that's it. We're done. Rage on. Have yourself a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow, friend. Bye-bye.